Hello, cuties. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday evening. And tonight it's some Pokemon Crystal version. It's been actually a pretty good while since I played Crystal. Granted, it's been way too long since I streamed. I don't know what it is, but for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've just been feeling mega exhausted. I don't think I've had one single day in the last week and a half where I didn't feel weird pressure on my head and just super tired. Also, I guess fun random fact, if you're playing as the male trainer in this game, or just if you're playing Gold or Silver in general, these little town icons will actually be orange instead of blue. It's one of those things where it's like if someone points it out to you, you're like, oh yeah, but I feel like when you're playing, you don't even think about it. Because it's not like you ever see the other color. I think I will go ahead and do a berry run. Also, whoever's out there lurking or VOD watchers, I hope you've been if you play ZA, I hope you've been enjoying DLC. I'm not going to mention any spoilers for it or anything, but I've been really happy. I haven't finished it yet. But I've been really happy with everything I've seen so far. Granted, I'm one of the few people who loved all of the new megas introduced in, base ZA, and I love all the new stuff I've seen so far in the DLC. And if anyone out there has finished the DLC, which I haven't, like I said, I haven't finished it all the way yet. Don't mention anything to me, because I want to discover it organically. With everything Pokemon related, and actually with most games I play now, I really try to go into it with basically only the official trailers is my only thing that I know. Damn it, I'm dropping frames like crazy. Yeah, if you caught the stream, and it was 30 seconds or a minute or two long, and because I actually stopped it to turn off my computer and restart it. Why am I dropping frames like this? Is it even, hitched and completely stopped the, disconnected for a minute? Annoying. Yeah, it looks like I finally got a full connection bar back. Please, please stop dropping frames. Stop, drops, and roll. 'Cause this girl is on fire. Now, sometime in the near future, when I actually have, moderate financial flexibility, one of the things I've always wanted to get, and it's pretty expensive, is, an OSSC, or an open source scan converter. Because then I could just hook up a lot of my retro consoles, directly in the HDMI output and then capture from them. I mean, emulators are fine, too, but there is something special about, actually playing it on the real hardware. Yo, hey, Seventh. I just like to imagine you, you tuck yourself into bed, you know, with your, classic, big nightcap with the, floppy, you know, fuzzy ball, on the end, and you just, have your big warm blankie, and you just go to sleep holding the retro tank. You can have your dreams with, even pixel scaling, and... worth the 3 weeks of ice soup. Yeah, how are you doing on this lovely Wednesday evening, 7th? You know, a few things are more heartbreaking than, busting open an official, legacy collection for a game. I know I'm using that word, but I'm not talking about Mega Man specifically. Just, any classic collection. And then you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm gonna play old video game. And then, you see some HUD element and you notice that the pixels are, some of the pixels are rectangular and some of them are square. And then you can't unsee it ever. But it's I don't know, sometimes if it's even, I understand they're trying to go for 4x3 because, while I'm glad that a lot of Nintendo's official emulators offer, perfect pixel mode, obviously most games from, you know, pre-Xbox 360 weren't meant to be displayed with perfectly square pixels. They're in, 8x7, but they're meant to be stretched to 4x3. But it is heartbreaking when, especially if it starts shimmering because the pixels keep changing how they're scaled when, the screen scrolls. It makes me wonder how stuff like that makes it past testing, because, someone had to have noticed, right? 'Cause I'm usually playing on, a 32-inch 720p display, and I notice that kind of thing. Yeah, fun fact, I think I've mentioned this offhandedly before, but my first ever HD TV, actually my mom and I got each other, mutual layaway Christmas presents. She got me a PlayStation 3, and I got her a 32-inch Sanyo HD TV, because we still were using, a CRT from 2002 at that point. And the thing is, that 2011 HD TV is still the one I'm using. It's weird, it's I notice the difference between, stuff like 1080 and 4K, I just don't care. Granted, maybe that has to do with the fact that most games I play are designed to run in, 240 or 480. So it's but it's just... Also, this is okay. I used to work at a place that, did, all kinds of electronics and stuff. TVs, video games, phones, just, the entire rundown of electronics. And as someone who was, I don't keep up with it as much now, but still kind of is knowledgeable on all that kind of stuff, not a big fan of having a smart TV. Especially because I've noticed that smart TVs really have a tendency to break down. I have a 4K screen in my living room. My bedroom's a 32-inch Vizio. I kind of figured you meant 32-inch, so the idea of you have a 3-inch Vizio TV. Just a wristwatch that you're playing your games on. Still has S-Video. That's rad as hell. Ooh, that reminds me of a really cool thrift store find. Give me a sec here. It's actually in my living room right behind me. I'm gonna go look at the brand real quick. Okay, it's a Panasonic Vista. It's technically the size of a 32-inch TV, but it's 4x3. And the thing with this Panasonic Vista is it has 2 S-video inputs, 2 composite inputs, and a component input. Because I was actually playing, this has been a couple months ago now. Hell no, it's probably been like a year ago at this point. But actually, no, my sense of time's all screwed up. But no, this was about 2 years ago. Because after I got that, I just kind of was putting it in the living room, not sure what to do with it. And when I got home from work one day, my mom had set a little corner in the living room with that Panasonic TV. And she had set my PlayStation 1, because I just had my PlayStation 1 sitting on, like, a table in the living room with none of the cords hooked up. She had put my PlayStation 1 and a few PS1 games over there, and she had bought a little chair. Like, there you go, now you have a retro corner if you want to use that while I'm playing Switch or watching TV. So I was, like, playing Breath of Fire 3 on freaking S-video on that TV, and it was sublime. But no, the reason why I know it was a couple years ago now is because, well, aside from my mom being alive, is also the fact that when I turned the TV on about 6 months ago, I don't know what happened because it was working perfectly fine, but when I turned it on 6 months ago, it now has this massive washed out burn-in ring around the edges, which is weird because I never left it on or anything like that. I mean, granted, it could just be from being old and from being an early LCD. But it made me so sad. Like, it still technically turns on and works and stuff. But, like, the outer, there's like a whole ring of it that looks just super washed out. Something similar, not too pronounced, but it's there. Tragic. Though, again, this thing's gotta be at least... Well, it's got to be over 20 years old, because 20 years ago was 2005, and you could just go and buy a freaking flat, normal 16:9 flat screen in 2005, so, gosh, that thing's got to be pushing 30. Because it was, I don't know, I really have a soft spot for TVs that are in between the phase of CRTs and, normal 16:9. Oh, cordial? Because, okay, all of the Pokemon nicknames I have in this playthrough are named after snacks and candy and stuff like that. Because of the red center, actually Maddie named it, because cordial cherries. It's like we got Star Crunch, which is named after Little Debbie snack, but also because, like, you know, Ladybug and Ladian are the 5-star Pokemon. You know, Coughing's like a malted milk ball. Moon Pie, I feel like, is obvious for Cleffa, because Cleffa's always associated with the moon. And Cordial Cherry. And, like, Magneton's Musketeers. Like, 3 Musketeers, because there's the 3 of them. A lot of snacks. Okay, Maxtos actually has a story, and this is really funny. Because I think I've mentioned offhand before that my very first ever stream was Pokemon Crystal, but it wasn't this save file. Because I fucked up the time that I put in, so I was trying to do the, it's like, I was trying to do the code where you hold the button, you hold a certain button combination to let you redo the timer, but you have to know, like, your internal secret ID. So I went to the website to do that, but I accidentally hit B and canceled out of it. So I did the code again, but instead I accidentally did the one to delete your save data. And with both the time code and the save data one, it starts the cursor at no, and I wasn't paying attention. And I accidentally hit yes, and deleted my first save, which was only like about 2 hours of gameplay, maybe like an hour and a half. My first stream was really short because I just wasn't used to streaming and I got tired really fast. Um, but yeah, so I deleted it, but I did do a few, time change code is so hilarious. So it's like a whole mini arc you have to go through to change your in-game timer. But, no, the thing is, like, I did catch a few, like, I started with Chikorita, and I did catch a few Pokemon. One of the Pokemon I caught was a Spearow, and I named it Mentos. You know, after, like, the fresh maker, the little mints. But, give me just a sec, I gotta sneeze. Okay. I named it Mentos, but I accidentally spelled it M-I-N-T-O-S. And one of my friends, Kubi Parfait, who also is a streamer, though she seems to usually lurk if she ever shows up for streams now. She hasn't been chatting much, but that's okay. Mentos, I spelled it wrong, and she jokingly said in chat that, you know, Mentos, M-I-N, implies the existence of Maxtos. So when I caught a Spearow on the second playthrough I started in my second stream, I named her Maxtos. Also, like, Spearow is so freaking good in, the first 2 generations for a playthrough. It is so hard to not just grab a Spearow at the beginning of the game and wreck shop. Because I found it so funny. I was watching a Pokemon Crystal video. It wasn't the one from Smith Plays Pokemon, it was a different one. But, you know, talking about how to, like, using, like, the least popular teams or something, you know, that, like, or the Pokemon you would almost never use in a playthrough. And, you know, showed, oh, you know, this is a typical solid Crystal team, and, you know, like, showed, like, 3 different random teams, and they were all, like, one was based around Chikorita, one was based around Totodile, one was based around Cyndaquil. And it was so funny because all of them had completely different team setups, except they all had a Fearow as their flying type, and there was like 2 frames of the video, it just flashed the words Fearow Supremacy, and that's so funny. Shit, I'm dropping frames again. Hey, 7th, if I'm all crackly or if it's skipping a lot, please tell me. Drillpeck is really, really good. Yeah. Pretty okay? Okay, good. Yeah, the rest of my main team, I have Taki the Growlithe, or Arcanine, I guess. I'm so used to calling it a Growlithe. Because you had to be a Growlithe for so long because I wanted to get Flamethrower. It's got Bite, Rock, Smash, Extreme Speed, and Flamethrower. Got Dorito, the Meganium, because, like, my first Chikorita from that first save file, I named Dorito. So, of course, this one's named Dorito. Same thing for Ninetales. Thankfully, Vulpix learns Flamethrower way earlier. Yeah, I actually also chose Chikorita for my ZA playthrough, and I named my Chikorita on that playthrough Dorimaru, continuing the legacy of the Dorito. Gleamingly, hi, thank you so much for the follow. I hit my follow. I just got 50 followers. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Gleamingly. And welcome to the Squeak Squad. My name's Micaiah, aka Mott's the Gaming Mouse. Play JRPGs, platformers, retro, and so much more. So thank you for coming by. If you want to, you can pull up a controller because there's a spot in front of the big old CRT TV just for you, and we can play our favorite games together. Thank you so much. Still haven't gotten ZA yet. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Ignore the haters. But But then again, I feel like you not having it has more to do with the fact that there's a million, billion, zillion games and we're all very busy. This is also Cheeto Chew, the Quagsire. This one's got a few layers because another one of my really close friends, Hex Chew, who's also a streamer, she loves hot chips, especially Cheetos, and Wooper is one of her favorite Pokemon. Pretty much Discord, just debating on how it'll feel real-time combat. I really like the real-time combat. Hi, Gleamingly. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Let's have Jelly Belly the Espeon. That kind of comprises my main team that I'll be raising up to fight Red. Because that's really all I have left to do. Oh, thank you very much. I have a lot of voices. Got that rainbow vibe. I mean, I do like Skittles. I'll take it as a compliment. Oops, to raise next. I think I've already got a Jigglypuff, so I don't really need to worry about Dippin' Dot. Got high jump kick. Checking my Hitmons real quick, because I know I have a Hitmonlee already, because I was breeding it with the Ditto to get, Okay, so Hitmonchan I don't have yet. Do I have a Hitmontop? Dumb, right there. No, I don't have Hitmontop yet. Okay, let's go ahead and grab that Tyrogue and train it up to Hitmontop. And also 7th with real-time combat. I really do enjoy it. But I will say that this is a me problem, not a problem with the combat, is I keep forgetting that, like, I can just get out the way, and so I end up taking a lot of unnecessary damage. So it is funny that some attacks like Explosion are still in the game, but if you're quick enough, you can just have your Pokemon run away from it. So it is really funny to have your opponent's Pokemon just, like, use Explosion and then just like, alright, I just walked away. There's player damage? Yeah, there's player damage like Legends Arceus. Though you won't take player damage during like a trainer battle, only if you're battling wild Pokemon. But there's still like the dodge rolls and stuff like Legends Arceus too. But there is a cool thing. There's like in-game items you can buy by finding other hidden items. And with those items, you can actually like reduce the damage you take, improve your catch rate, stuff like that. Now, one thing I really do like about the Legends games is it kind of fulfills what they only really talk about in text in the early Pokemon games, is like the fact that, you know, these are super powered wild animals and they are actually really dangerous. Of course, with the Legends game, it feels like it's really Game Freak trying not to hold back. Because, fun fact, Legends ZA is the first mainline Pokemon game to get an E10 rating instead of E. I have no idea how Legends Arceus got away with an E rating, considering that, you know, one of the NPCs will just tell you, yo, if you don't make yourself useful, well, not NPC, one of the major, like, characters and stuff will be like, yo, if you don't make yourself useful, we'll just throw you out into the wilderness and let you fucking die. I did hear the game's got genuinely good writing. Oh yeah, the writing in it's great. I mean, honestly, I feel like all of the Pokemon games of the Switch era have had really good writing. Well, I mean, like, I guess technically, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and, Pokemon, Let's Go had, like, the same writing mostly as the things they're remaking, but, like, I mean all the original games for Switch. Yeah, like, the characters are actually really in focus. And it's just really well done. The thing is, like, it actually does have direct continuity with X and Y and the story that's told there, which I think is really cool. Got spoiled on a bit of that, but it does make me genuinely curious. Like I said, it's absolutely worth picking up. I actually, well, I played through the main story and I'm working on the DLC, like I mentioned, but I played it on Switch 1 and it runs great. So you don't really need to wait on a Switch 2 to play it or anything. Because I just really haven't had the opportunity financially to go and buy a Switch 2. I want to get one eventually, but like... I want to Switch 2. I mean, like, I don't think it's going to revolutionize my universe. It's just better Nintendo Switch. Granted, I never use the Nintendo Switch as a handheld. I say never, like maybe 2-3% of the time I use it as a handheld. I almost always just use it as like a console. Oh wait, shit, I just realized I stream now, and I buy a Switch too. I can use that as a tax write-off. Because I actually did get my first Twitch payout a while ago. So I've officially made money doing Twitch. I need to deposit the apricorns. Nice, thank you. I'm very fortunate that a lot of people from like my existing friend groups, like Kubi Parfait and Hexchew and stuff like that, already watch live streams, so them just bouncing over to me to say hey was a pretty easy move over. But I do love streaming, like, I try not to ever be stressed over it, but on days when I want to stream but I can't just because, like, I don't feel good or something, I'm always, like, sad about it. Oh. Hi, Gavin.
Mots, good evening. It's me, Gavin. How you doing? Let's battle. I'll be waiting at Route 26. Give me a shout when you're close. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Yeah, that happens to me when I go too long without a video. I also get very sad when I have to go too long without a 7th Force video. But no, like, I really enjoyed the Rocket Raccoon video. I always feel a little bit like I'm annoying, because every time you drop a video, I leave, like, an entire essay's worth of a comment. Also, me saying that, I don't want to make you feel stressed that you have to output more videos or something. Obviously, do exactly what you're going to work on at the rate at which is comfortable for you and your health and well-being. My favorite types of comments, yay! But yeah, the way my freaking ears perked up when you started playing the Rocket Knight Adventures music in the comic recommendation section of that video. Like, eh? Even though I have the Nintendo Switch Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked collection, I actually have my Genesis 3 hooked up to my TV, just playing the Rocket Knight Adventures on real hardware earlier today. Just because I felt like it. But no, the Genesis 3 is wonderful. I mean, it doesn't have Sega CD or 32X compatibility. But the thing with the Model 3 Genesis is, like, it is so small and compact. Add to it, it was so perfect. But the Genesis 3 is so small and compact, it's like barely the size of 2 regular Genesis cartridges. That I can just, like, leave it in a drawer in the living room and just slide out the drawer and just, boom, Genesis 3 hooked up on my TV. Because on my shelf with my Switch and PS1 games, I've got, like, unfortunately I don't have the original packaging, but I've got, like, some cartridges. I've got, like, give me a sec here. Got, like, Rocket Knight Adventures, Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose, a not-for-resale edition of the first X-Men game on Genesis. I've got Mega Bomberman, which it's weird, I grew up with Mega Bomberman. This isn't my childhood copy. I actually have an interesting story with my childhood copy. I got Mega Bomberman. I got Golden Axe 2. I don't even remember thinking about playing Golden Axe. Maybe I just grabbed it with a handful from my other room. Oh, and I have the Sega 6-pack. This is a wonderful cartridge because it's one cartridge with Sonic 1, Golden Axe 1, Streets of Rage, Super Hang-On, Columns, and Revenge of Shinobi. It's so funny that Sega was already making Genesis compilations on the Genesis. Never had the Genesis 3, only had the first two. I mean, like, the Genesis 3 is North American exclusive, I think. And it was not produced, like, it came out in 1998. It wasn't produced directly by Sega. I think it was produced by Majesco alongside the second print run of Black Game Gears, the ones that won't work with the TV tuner. But it plays like, say 99% of the Genesis library perfectly. There are some games like Gargoyles that rely on very specific hardware weirdness from the Model 1 and 2 that the Model 3 doesn't do. I mean hardware weirdness in the way that the hardware does not do what it's supposed to in certain ways, and Gargoyles use that to its advantage, but the Genesis 3 actually fixed the problem, therefore causing problems. But no, like, I have kind of two-ish interesting Mega Bomberman stories. The copy of Mega Bomberman I have now, I actually do have the original packaging, but it's the 1996 cardboard packaging, because the copy of Mega Bomberman I have now is a reprint I got complete in box at the thrift store. Because it's got, like, the black and white Xeroxed manual, not the original color manual. But the thing is, my copy of Mega Bomberman, I bought it, and it was, like, super heavy. And just wedged in the box. I don't know how they pulled this off without ruining the box. But wedged in there with my copy of Mega Bomberman was this copy of X-Men for Genesis. But no, my childhood copy of Mega Bomberman, it's a little bit of a sad story, but my mom's brother passed away, like, in his 40s from some health complications and stuff. And, you know, my mom and I went down there to kind of so my mom could be with him in his last few days. And even though the Genesis was already really old at the time, I had my, I guess my aunt, which would have been his wife, had a Genesis. They had, like, a Genesis and I think an N64. And I had just brought a handful of Genesis games with me. And, you know, obviously she had just lost her husband. She was distraught. She was going through it. And I remember, like, getting up, because obviously we'd stayed the night over at their house. I remember getting up in the middle of the night and to, like, use the bathroom or something. And the light was on in their, like, the light wasn't on, but the TV was on in their living room. And I went and peeked in there, and she's just completely zoned in playing Mega Bomberman, like, halfway through the game. And I guess, like, she had just really tethered to the game and kind of, it was a coping thing, so I just actually ended up telling her when we left that she can keep Mega Bomberman.
Huh, I've been waiting for you. This time, I'm gonna win.
But it all worked out because I found another copy later, so. Amazing how a game at the right time can suck you in. Like, yeah, it was just exactly what she needed. She wasn't a super big gamer or anything. Because, you know, she would have been 40 in the 90s. Almost. So, like, I think she, like, was one of those people who liked Pac-Man and Space Invaders and stuff like that. I didn't really keep up with games. Although if I recall correctly, I don't think I had the original box or anything for Mega Bomberman when I was a kid either. I think I ended up getting it at like Blockbuster or something. Dude, it's crazy how many of my Super Nintendo and Genesis games that I had as a kid were things that I got after the PS1 and Saturn were out that I found at Blockbuster for like $5 or $10. Because my childhood copies of Mega Man 2, 3, and 4, I actually got, again, after the PS1 was out, because the local video rental store near where I lived at the time was getting rid of their NES games because they were finally starting to get PlayStation 1 games in. So my mom got me Mega Man 2, 3, and 4 for $2 a piece.
Ugh, life is even tougher.
Yeah, no, it's so freaking cool. Also, and this one makes me super sad, she got me the NES version of Lemmings. And when we moved to the house I live in now, almost all my games were accounted for. I was missing, like, my Game Gear and the games that were in the package with my Game Gear, like one other game, and then my NES version of Lemmings. Actually, a couple of my Game Boy games were missing, too. Like, I know my copy of, like, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 just disappeared when we moved. Which is weird, because all the games I packed it with were still there. So I have no idea what happened to it. Or a few other games.
We'll soon depart for Goldenrod. Are you coming on board?
Yes. Rail pass, rail pass. This game sucks. It really does. But we can hop up and down on the magnet train, hopping up and down on the magnet train. Though I do actually have a copy of Wario Land 2 again. Or not Wario Land 2, but Wario Land 1. I still have my original childhood copy of Wario Land 1. Or not, god damn it. Sorry, the dyslexia is really getting me. Give me just a sec. Okay, I have my childhood copy of Wario Land 2, but I got a new copy of Wario Land 1 about 2 or 3 years ago. Only got it for like 15 bucks on eBay, and the cool thing is it's a Japanese copy. Because I guess fun random fact about Wario Land 1 is that it has no localization whatsoever in any form. The only difference between like a North American, Japanese, or any other version is the sticker on the front of the cartridge. Because the Japanese version is completely in English with the few bits of text that are in there. It's weird, it's one of those games where I never realized how little text is actually in the game until I bought a Japanese version and realized it required almost no localization. There's a surprising number of older Japanese games are just completely in English.
Welcome to the Pokemon Salon. I'm the younger and less expensive of the two haircut brothers. I'll spiff up your Pokemon for just 300 yen. So how about it?
Whoa, dude, I got the Demon Yin. That wasn't even on purpose. How did I even manage that? That's crazy. Well, goodbye, Demon Yin. I have to get this guy to shave my fairy.
Okay, I'll make it look cool. There we go, all done.
Oh shit. It's the guy who teaches the moves. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm accidentally vague posting IRL. This guy here, for 4,000 Game Corner coins, You will teach one of your Pokemon Flamethrower, Ice Beam, or Thunderbolt. I'm gonna check the homies real quick and see if I want to teach any of them a move. I think he only shows up on like Wednesday and Saturday. Spent so many months grinding out those Game Corner for moves as a kid. I just kill the Elite Four over and over, and then I would come back and just spend regular money to do it. Just like buy the coins 50 at a time or whatever. I already got Ice Beam. Not learning any of them. Time for live Cerebi checking. I know Wheezing can learn Flamethrower and Thunderbolt, but I don't remember off the top of my head if Coughing can. I'm more optimal. Nah, I wouldn't call it stupid. It's just when you're a kid, you just like, you say, oh, this is how you do the thing, and then you go do it this way without thinking about how to optimize it or anything. Like, oh, I have to give him Game Corner kinds. Time to start gambling. Let's go gambling! You know, a lot of, because I'm sure it's pretty well known that because of changes in how fake gambling is rated with the European, like, PEGI ratings board, that pretty much every Pokemon game has removed the Game Corners and stuff. Because the re-releases of Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal on 3DS are actually rated PEGI 12 instead of the PEGI 3 or 7, which the games usually get, because of the Game Corner. But a lot of people have mentioned that, like, it's good to have the Game Corner in those games because it teaches kids that gambling fucking sucks and it's boring. Okay. Let's teach Malted Flamethrower. Do I have a Flamethrower or Thunderbolt? I'll get Thunderbolt.
Teach your Pokemon amazing moves if you'd like. Should I teach you a new move?
BRB. Wait, shit, I don't think I have enough money to do this right now. Damn it. I miscounted the number of 6s in my money. Also, I've spoiled myself from playing ZA so much because I'm in the post-game and I've earned buku amounts of money. Shit. I really don't feel like doing an Elite Four rerun right now. Nor do I haven't saved in a while either. Oh well, you know what, I'm just gonna live with my choices, and maybe we'll do some more Elite Four fights next time. I'm not ending the stream or anything, but like, oh well. I've got some coins, I'm almost halfway there. I'll just save up and come get him next Wednesday or Saturday or something. The lack of commas in the money thing in this really messes with, because again, dyslexia. So I really wasn't 100% sure exactly where I was money-wise. I guess I am sadly not book smart or money smart. Speaking of holy freaking crap, Mega Man Dual Overdrive. The scream that I scrimped like a little baby. Still intelligent though. Ooh, I try. Also, we're pretty close to the Star Force collection. I've only ever really played the first Star Force, and even then, it's only been like an hour or two. Screamed so hard as soon as I saw the series. Right? The freaking DLN001. I'm like, what? Also, I'm a little irritated people saying that it looks just like 11 because it really doesn't. Actually, it looks more like a 3D version of Mega Man 8, which I love because visually, Mega Man 8 is my favorite. Well, okay, it's also just my favorite classic Mega Man game altogether, but especially visually. Granted, I also love Mega Man 11. They're taking after 8 aesthetically. You'd like... I think Maximilian said this also, but yeah, like, that era of like Mega Man 8 and Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2 is peak classic Mega Man as far as design, aesthetics, animation. Mots? It's me, Dana. My Fluffy is so full of energy. It's a little scary. How are you and your Pokemon doing? It took only an instant to KO a wild Noctowl. It must be because you gave me some battling tips last time. See ya! What always makes me one minor gripe I have that always makes me a little sad/irritated was that in some of the Marvel vs. Capcom stuff, it treated Mega Man like a little bit of a joke character. Not in gameplay, but just like seemed to take him a bit less seriously than the rest of the cast. You know, with him like sticking his tongue out and stuff like that when that's not a really Mega Man-y thing to do, I feel. Though granted, I feel like I've mentioned this at least once on the comments of one of your videos, but Mega Man being in Marvel vs. Capcom is the main reason why I play fighting games now. Well, I mean, like, I say play. I mostly play old fighting games for my own amusement and the story. I don't really, like, actively play in the tournament scene. I'm not going to be showing up at EVO. Or guess why I'm a fighting game fan now? Because when I was, like, younger, the people that I was playing games with, like, you know, they had, like, it was the 90s, so obviously they had, like, Street Fighter 2 and stuff. Just the home version. I think it was for Super Nintendo. And, like, I wanted to play 2 because it was a game they were playing. The only character I could really kind of figure out was Ryu. It took me so long to figure out how to do a roll motion to even do a Hadouken. And, again, we were kids. I would like to preface this by, like, we must have been under 10. But they would not tell me how to do any of the moves, and they would, like, keep the instruction book away from me. Of course, they knew the moves because they owned the game. And I finally started to figure out how to do Hadouken, and I figured out how if you Hadouken backwards, you'll do the spin kick. I think I stumbled into it by accident. So I was literally in my 20s before I could ever pull off a Shoryuken reliably. But no, like, I actually kind of, sort of started a little bit learning how to do Ryu. And they got mad at me because I won a couple games. So they told me I couldn't play as Ryu anymore. Like, I wasn't even winning consistently. I think I won, like, 3 out of maybe, like, 15 matches we played. And, like, I just had a very negative feeling toward fighting games for a long time. Which, like, you know, looking back, we're little kids, you know, obviously gonna be unfair and try to win and do stupid crap like that. But, you know, the feeling still stuck with me, even though I logically know So it wasn't until, like, I saw another friend's older brother playing Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and, you know, at first I was just like, oh, this, like, looks cool, and it's like, oh, hey, it's got the characters from, like, the X-Men show that I watched a couple episodes of, that's neat. And, like, oh my god, Staryu, please, my god. And then, like, I saw the character select screen, and I'm like, Mega Man? And so they let me play a little bit of arcade mode and goof around with the training mode and play as Mega Man. Because I have a soft spot for PS1 version of Marvel 1. Which I guess would technically be Marvel vs. Capcom EX. Because it is a completely different game than the arcade version of Marvel 1, or arcade and Dreamcast version. Like, it's not even, I don't even think I could call it worse or better. It is a completely different game. But it was pretty much the thing that made me a lifelong fighting game fan. Just because I could play as Mega Man and he was so well animated and looked so cool. Dragon Punches came as a consistent thing for me until, like, my teens? Maybe around when SF4 came out? PS1 version is a neat little package, I'll think. I'm secretly hoping, since the, I don't remember the exact wording, which is sad because I actually own the thing. But, like, I know that the current collection is, like, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, like, arcade classics or something like that. So a part of me secretly hopes that there'll be, like, a Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 that has, like, the console ports. Granted, I'd prefer something like that just be like an update or something, but I would happily buy another collection. Sonic Boom! See, the Magnemite knew we were talking about fighting game stuff. Dang. Okay, Gilgert cannot take another Sonic Boom. Let's get him out of there. I always wonder why the Marvel vs. Capcom collection is the only one title with that distinction. Right? That's why I'm secretly hopeful. That reminds me, I still haven't picked up the, I really want to pick it up, the, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, with, like, Power Stone and Capcom vs. SNK. Dude, I am so excited that they got Capcom vs. SNK in those collections. I always kind of secretly thought that it would take, like, a little too much to get that. Okay, like, I kind of thought that it would eventually be re-released, but I never thought it would be re-released in a collection. I thought it was going to be something like SVC Chaos, where having to license multiple things would, like, kind of lock it to having to be an individual digital-only release. Them doing a non-arcade, like a console collection, would also, in addition to fighting games, open them up to being able to put stuff like X-Men Mutant Apocalypse from the Super Nintendo on a collection, too. Capcom and SNK finally being on good terms helped a lot, yeah. I actually also really want to pick up SVC Chaos, which is one of those games that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it always seems to go on sale when I don't have money. And I have a really hard time spending full price on a digital game unless it's an indie. Because the only digital games I think I've ever bought for full price are DuckTales Remastered on PlayStation 3. I'm not talking about, like, re-releases of retro stuff. I mean, like, brand new digital games. Retro re-releases, yeah, I'll go buy that at full price, just because a lot of times that's the only time we're gonna get those games. Like, I think DuckTales Remastered on PlayStation 3 I pre-ordered. Oh yeah, the modern version does have a physical release. I gotta go look that up. I think it's usually like $35, I think, because it's $20 for the digital version. Because I might just end up buying it on Steam and just saying F it and spend the full $20. And then just track down a physical for Switch or whatever later. Sorry, I had to mute the mic, I sneezed. Can't wait to get my model on screen so I can be in the VTuber sneeze compilations. Hey buddy, haven't you ever heard of sleep claws? That's rude. Please ignore the 40 level difference. Yeah. Oh wait, that's right, you haven't ever been here when I've played anything except emulated games. But yeah, a lot of my early streams, like I streamed the Steam version of the Mega Man Legacy Collection. I'm not a big PC gamer, my computer can't run anything that's made for like PS5 or Series X or anything, but I can do most PS4 and earlier. Granted, most of my Steam collections of like old games and stuff like that. Oh, that's right, I forgot that you weren't really there for most of my Halloween stuff either, because I actually did a Darkstalkers stream, but I did it after I worked one day, and my hands were hurting so much from trying to play the game on a normal controller that I ended up switching halfway through the stream to the PC version of Disgaea 1. Because, like, my hands were hurting so bad that I had to go to something turn-based. But yeah, my Steam is Mikea Manga. Sounds fun, hand paint side. Oh no, it was great. It was the most I'd ever played the original Darkstalkers. It was such a joy. My goal was to do the stream as just a Morrigan arcade mode playthrough and get her ending. But like I said, my hands just started hurting so much that I couldn't do like the inputs or anything. Hey, this is a completely random thing that I just thought about, because, like, I need to invest in a normal arcade stick. Probably one of the PlayStation ones that'll work on... Oh, yeah, go ahead and add me, dude. That'd be awesome. Just a sec here. Double checking my Steam to make sure my name doesn't have any weird spelling or anything. Because there are, I guess, more Mikeas out there than I think. Because some of Mikea Manga was actually taken on a few things, and I can never remember which ones I had to spell it different. Okay, no, it's just Mikea Manga, same as my YouTube. Or not YouTube, but Twitch. Maddie, hi! Love Twitch not notifying me when streams start. Yeah, I love it when it doesn't tell me about my friends' streams, but it'll tell me about a hype train on some random person I've never interacted with stream in the middle of the day. Seven, it's interesting you bring up Steam because the aforementioned Kubi, her birthday was in November, and it was great because, like, I just bought her a game she had been wanting for a while, a Harvest Moon Wonderful Life remake. I just bought her that as a birthday present, and it really irritates me because I wish you could buy games as gifts on console for other people. It's really weird that you can't do that with like Switch or PlayStation or whatever. Super can never get enough of that. What am I doing? Yeah, how are you doing on this lovely Wednesday afternoon, Maddie? Evening? I guess evening, it's 9 o'clock. Just talking about that with some right. The weirdest thing to me is that the Wii, the freaking Wii, you could gift games to people. And no Nintendo console after that would let you do it. I mean, I think that should be standard, especially as much as companies want to push digital libraries and stuff. It's like, the problem is, digital can never be the main source of video game distribution until we have both the same security as a physical version, as in it'll always be there, and that we all have the same options as a physical version. Because honestly, there are a lot of advantages to digital. Okay, here's the thing, as much as I love collecting my physical games, and I almost always go and buy the physical thing, partially just because I'm old, but I actually really do like digital gaming. I love the convenience. I love being able to sit down and just page through my library with zero fuss, without having to get up and just be like, what do I want to play today? It's super fun. And Steam as like the standard to me, you know, having like your games cloud saved, having it available on any machine with no fuss as long as you're signed in, that's fantastic. But if they keep putting barriers between us and our games, then digital's always going to be the loser. Because the inconveniences are too inconvenient to outweigh what's good for it right now. Because here, as much as I'm a physical video game enthusiast, Steam's about the only platform I feel comfortable buying digital on. I generally prefer physical. Absolutely. I actually really liked Google Stadia. It helps that, like, with the internet that I have, streaming the games, they were always really sharp, and I never tried to play any fighting games or anything. But every 2 months or so, Google would just give me a free month of premium. I guess they were technically doing it quarterly, but one of those months I was just using it. And like, I actually tried a lot of games for the first time on Stadia, and I never really noticed. Like, the only times I've really noticed is every once in a while, like if Mom was watching a YouTube video or something, I would get like some artifacts. Not like slowdown, just like visual artifacts on screen. I mean, most of the stuff, like I played like Ys 9, like Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. A few things like that. Because I only ever bought one game on Stadia. I bought Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which went on sale for $11, and they gave me a $10 Stadia gift card as a bonus for using it at all. So I got the game for $1. Yeah, I had Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, and but with Premium, I played like Darksiders 3 for about an hour and a half. I played about 2 or 3 hours into Ys 9. It was also the first time I played Ys 8 was on Stadia as well. So I actually own Ys 8 now. Did a little more of ZA, some side missions done earlier, but mostly been training team members and living it up. Cool. My experience with Stadia is Samurai Showdown. Oh no. Also, really cool thing that I learned recently is that the Yasuhiro Naito, the author of Trigun, actually got his start doing doujinshi. He actually did some Street Fighter doujinshi, and he started a Samurai Showdown doujinshi that eventually got like officially published. Also watching Survivor, the season finale and the president's speech, still going on for a little longer, interrupted it, so I checked my phone and saw you streaming. That takes, pun not intended, precedence over a show I can watch later. Ooh. Yay. I'm not gonna tell you about VODs, so you won't know that you can watch my stream later. The president's on. He's on every channel. We're gonna miss Flipper. Nobody's gonna get that reference. I can't do this in the VOD, can I? It's true. The dancing dino. You know, completely a random thing that the dancing dino made me think of, but like going through thinking about what game I wanted to play the other day on the Nintendo Switch Online app made me realize how many games in the 16-bit era were about cavemen. Oh, you're right. I'll be back once it's over at 11:30. Damn it. You don't even have Bonk yet.
Hey, it's Stolly. It's a great night for fishing. We should get a battle going. I'll be fishing on Route 42. Swing by if you have the time. Well, I'll be seeing you.
That's what I would say if I didn't want to see the star you reach level 23 to save my life. Okay, legit though, the lack of Bonk is super bothering me now that you brought it up. It's weird because they were putting like Bonk everywhere in like the Wii and PS3 era, and now it's like not on anything. I'm actually really glad that I bought the Super Nintendo Super Bonk on Wii Virtual Console before that was discontinued. Because that and the Super NES version of Chrono Trigger, I think, were some of the last few games I bought digitally on Wii.
I've been doing more than just fishing since we last met. You're in for a big surprise.
Wii Virtual Console is how I first started playing Bonk. It was a great service. It was so good. Like, I do like the structure of Nintendo Switch Online, and it's definitely the best value. I mean, $20 a year for unlimited access to NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy is amazing. I mean, hell, even $50 a year to add Genesis, N64, GameCube, and GBA is just, like, phenomenal. Nintendo Switch Online is one of the only services that's actually worth the money. But as far as just like being able to purchase classic games, the original Wii Virtual Console is still the best to ever do it, IMHO. Though the PlayStation 3 with its PS1 classics is definitely a contender. Because honestly, I think resetting the Virtual Console library for the Wii U and 3DS was a super boneheaded move. I mean, I do like that, more modern ones have, like, control customization and, better save states and stuff. But, like, as far as just library availability, the Wii Virtual Console cannot be topped. And I understood it for 3DS. Yeah, doing it for the Wii was baffling. What? That's not right. So even Tully agrees. Back to Monogamy Town. See, when you're proposing to your sweetheart, and she's also an old school Pokemon nerd, you're like, "Hey babe, let me take you to Monogamy Town." Hi Rain, how are you doing on this lovely Wednesday evening? I remember what day it was without even having to stop and think about it. I have the big tired and don't want to have to be a person for the rest of the year. I feel bad. Unfortunately, my job has decided that next week I'm working almost every day but Christmas. LOL, but Christmas. Oh, Christmas off, so generous. Starting on Saturday, I work every day till Christmas Day. Ugh. I am so sorry. It irritates me because, like, a couple months ago, I actually told them at work, it's like, hey, every other week, I need at least 3 days off. Because, aside from this, the streaming, which is like my real job, I also want to start working on assets for both this and my comics and my other stuff, my other real job. And they did that for like 3 or 4 weeks, and now it's just been like 5 days a week, every week, and I'm like, got a doctor's appointment tomorrow and health insurance because, ugh, I'm so sorry. Level 23. Don't you just love when your workplace ignores your work-life balance that you set for yourself because you've proven that you're capable at your job? That's the thing is, like, I'm capable, but I'm capable in the bare minimum kind of way. Where, like, I don't try to excel because I don't care. It's just a job for money so I can pay my bills. But it's like, oh, you're doing such a great job. You're doing so great. I'm like, I'm literally doing the bare minimum. I am just doing the job exactly the way I am instructed. And apparently that's impressive. Maybe the same thing happens with me. It's like, most of the time my goal at work is to, you know, I get whatever they want me to do for the day. I keep my head down and my mouth shut. I do task, so, you know, like, I don't get anything extra. Like, I don't try to start anything or anything. I'm cordial, I'm friendly, and I stay out of everybody's way. Because I really do not care. I'm getting Zeno-natted. Oh my god. My old job especially, I'd oftentimes actively avoid work because how little I cared. Like I said, I never neglect anything. Like, I won't go out of my way to sabotage the workplace. I'm just like... Basically, I do as little as I can get away with and still have it be my job. The curse of neurodivergency, where you've been told what the bare minimum is, so that's what you do while everyone else gets away with doing even less. Well, that, and it opens up another thing I've noticed, not just at my workplace, but just in general, like, even with school and stuff like that, is that, like, people who do less than the bare minimum or cause problems or stuff like that, they'll get heavily rewarded and praised when they finally get up to the level of doing the bare minimum. But people who actually follow the rules and try to do things well, even though you're doing more than the people that neglect the stuff, you're not going to get praised for it. But the moment you do anything, even not intentionally, that goes against the rules, then you get lambasted, even though you're not doing things as bad as the people who are constantly doing nothing. Because the thing is, like, your standard is at, like, let's say level 5, their standard's at level 2. So if they go up to level 4, they get praised, but if you go down to level 4, even though you're going down far less than they're going up, you get lambasted for it. Sadly common. It's also the flip side of it where I was efficient enough at my job that I'd often be ahead on orders, so I just wouldn't have things to do. Until I got a new manager hired who would mismeasure like every other order, so I'd have to reorder material. Oh. Few things are more demoralizing than having to go behind somebody who's paid more than you because you know what you're doing more than them, but it's not going to increase your pay and you're not going to get any rewards for it. Like, dude, I wish I could just get a grant to cover all my living expenses for like a year or two, so I could just focus on freaking my actual art and creativity and stuff. Like, I don't know if I call it jealousy, but it always made me a little bit like, I don't even know how to describe it, wistful, I guess. When I heard that, like, in France, they had this whole program because they wanted to increase the, like, vastness and expression of French art. So artists and creators and stuff just got huge grants to cover their living expenses so they could focus on creating. That's why there was this big renaissance in the 2010s with like a bunch of really cool French animation. Gosh, there's like, I know there's that one movie with the gorgeously animated blonde girl getting drunk. I think it's called The Last Guy. It's really cool, like French anime. Also, that grant is responsible for the existence of Rayman Origins. Barely have the energy to be a person as it is. Trying to be creative while being a person is far too much for me. I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like my entire existence, if I don't indulge in creative things, it's like, it's almost like my body will backfire on me. I don't even know how to describe it. Sometimes, like, something as simple as, like, I don't know, pulling out, like, my pocket notebook at work and doodling a little picture of one of my characters, like, I have to do something. Because if I go more than 2 days without doing something creative, I'll, like, freaking start to get headaches and stuff. It's so weird. I don't know if it's psychological or what. It also doesn't help that when I leave the house, I have to go pretend to be a completely different person. Still indulge in creative things and actively want to, but I've definitely delved more into my creativity before depression hit me. Depression is always the most brutal. Especially because in addition to the aforementioned headaches, I'll also just start depression spiraling. Thankfully, at least now I'm aware enough of it to know when I'm spiraling. But hey, I know how to deal with depression, and at the very least, I will tell you that, like, I'm not gonna say anything like, oh, it'll be okay, oh, you'll make it, because, like, you're smart enough to know you'll make it, but it's just, like, I want you to know that even when you're depressed, I still love you and care about you, the same as I always would. You may be depressed and empty, but you're not alone. Because any of my close friends I care about, when they do have to go through, like, the depression or the spiral and stuff, I always tell them, like, I can't fix it, but I can make sure you don't have to go through that pain by yourself. Yeah, the spiraling super sucks. It's crazy because, like, no matter what you do or how successful you were, it can still just jump out and smack you. Because, like, I'll spiral and feel like, oh, you know what, everything I do is a waste of time and I should stop this, so blah, blah. You know, like I said, I'm sure you've all been through this spiel at least 1 or 2 times in your own head. And it's weird because, like with Twitch, I've been, like, crazy successful in such a short amount of time. I just got my 50th follower today, and I haven't even been doing this for 6 full months yet. Like, I don't even have my own emotes or like an on-screen model or anything, but I've already like accomplished so much, which is crazy to me because I figured 6 months in I'd have like Maddie, maybe the occasional QB, and you know, maybe like 10 or 15 followers. So the fact that I'm already up to 50, the fact that I've already gotten a payout at least one time, that's crazy to me. And I'm so grateful and I'm so happy. Really great growth. The thing is, like, that's the thing is, like, I always had it in my head before I started streaming. Up's even relatively consistent. I try. Again, it also, part of that is, you deserve it several times over. Thank you, Maddie. But, like, part of it is also that, like, when I don't stream, I feel bad, but not in a way that, like, I feel obligated to stream because I have to. But I want to stream because it's something I really enjoy. So when I don't do it, it's not like, oh, I need to stream because it's my work and I owe it to the people. It's like, no, I wanted to stream today, damn it, I feel like crap. I really miss streaming. As consistent as you can be with job interfering. Yeah. Like I said, I'm irritated that, like, with the weather change, it's been, like, I think 5 or 6 days since my last stream, because I think it was last Thursday or Friday. And I'm, like, really irritated about that going a whole week. And again, it's not because I feel like, oh, I owe it to the people, or like, oh, I have to keep doing it. It's not like some kind of, you know, soul-crushing obligation. It's just like, man, I want to do the thing I really love doing. So, like, days I can't stream where I wanted to, because I definitely do try to take days off just for me. But days when I wanted to stream but can't just because I don't feel good enough, it's like going into Walmart and you're buying your favorite candy bar or pizza and it's going to be your special thing for the day and they're sold out. It's -3 degrees Fahrenheit. Just kidding. Now it's 50. Yeah. And, like, that's honestly probably what's been kicking my ass. I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream before anybody was, like, chatting in chat, but, like, for the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I've just been, like, constantly feeling like I've not punched in the face like the pain, but, like, the feeling after you hit your head on something where you're, like, kind of dizzy and wobbly. I've just felt like that almost non-stop for a week and a half. I'll put my head in a vice and be less painful. Also, fun random fact, I learned through Pokemon that the spelling of vice for the clampy thing is actually V-I-S-E. The V-I-C-E spelling is specifically for, like, a problematic thing you do that you wish you didn't, like smoking or something. Because it was actually spelled wrong for, like, the first 6 or 7. I think Gen 7 or Gen 8 is when they actually changed it to V-I-S-E for Vice Grip. It's like how Feint Attack was F-A-I-N-T for up until Gen 6, where they actually changed it to F-E-I-N-T. I'm not trying to be, like, a spelling pedantic, it's just, it made me think of that. Bean doon bean, and now you know. Noob is more of a metaphor prior to the fix. It's also a move I largely associate with Mawile. So I'm just like, which is my favorite Pokemon, I'm just like, you know. That's also, I think about it a lot for that reason. Though Vice Grip with the V-I-C-E spelling would be a really good name for a band. Imagine prior to the fix, Pokemon just plays dead and does a sneak attack when the opponent gets close. Well, I mean, it describes it like if it's an F-E-I-N-T feint. Like, even in the Gen 2 description, it describes it that way. Or Gen 3, whichever one they started doing the move descriptions. I mean, you have a place where a Pokemon-themed band name would fit like butter. That is very true. Maybe it's already canon, who knows? So one of my favorites is, I think, in the Spanish version of Pokemon, like, pre-Gen 3, the move Slam. Because, like, okay, with Pokemon localization, it went from, like, Japanese to English, and then all the European languages are based off the English version, not from the original Japanese version. So, in the Spanish version of, like, the first 2 generations, the move Slam... Thank you, Maddie, for once again cutting a worthless object. But the move Slam was translated for, like... Because in Spanish, there are different words for, like, hitting something, like slamming it with, you know, like a whip, is a different word from slamming a door. And for the Spanish localization, they went with the word for slamming a door. So it's like your Bellsprouts just coming in there and just slamming a door in the opposing Pokemon's face. So that was fixed, I think, in Generation 3, but it's still funny. And here comes Bellsprout with the door! Lock and slam the twins.
Come on and slam.
God fucking damn it. I'm just gonna give my Staryu a freaking mint berry at this point. I forget that I have like 30 to 50 of every healing item, and I just keep walking back to the Pokemon Center. Okay, but the Pokemon Center is free, and you might need those healing items later. As someone who's finished mini RPGs with an inventory full of, like, Mega Elixirs and shit, I've really been trying to break you the habit. Like, even in the, like, the nighttime ZA Royale, I actually use healing items. instead of running to the Pokemon Center after every fight. The habit you can never be broken, but it shouldn't stop you from trying. Like that one song. Dude, Breaking the Habit is an amazing Linkin Park song with an amazing music video. So after Chester passed away from suicide, it like a lot of his songs can hurt a little bit more because you realize how actually personal they were. Sorry, I didn't mean to go into sad mode there. Because I think one thing, like, that I've kind of been learning recently, growing up neurodivergent, I generally didn't understand a lot of the ideas and stuff. Like, a lot of stuff being put forth by neurotypicals was abstract, and a lot of the rules seemed random and didn't make sense. Which, I've mentioned this on stream before, but also I feel like that's the reason why a lot of neurodivergent people feel like their friends are just going to start spontaneously hating them for no reason. Because for a lot of their early life, they probably had people getting mad at them and had no idea why. And the answer when they asked why someone was mad at them was usually something along the lines of, "You know what you did," and you have no idea what you did. But another thing I've kind of started to learn is a lot of stuff created by neurotypical people is much more straightforward and literal and less abstract than I really perceive it as being. Like, a lot of times it's much less about what-if scenarios and is literally just an expression of the thing they're feeling. Which is why I think a lot of neurotypical people have difficulty with fictional media that's just fictional. That isn't a direct thing of what someone's feeling or likes or is interested in. No, I don't know what I did. That's why I'm asking. And the thing is, like, that if having actually replied like that to teachers and stuff, they yelled at me for being a smart aleck. Like, the amount of times I was, like, treated like I was conniving or something like that when I'm like, bitch, I am literally 11. I do not have the capacity to connive. I want to go home and play my Sony PlayStation. It's so funny how many, like, angry and mean-spirited teachers I had when, like, as a kid, you know, like, it felt big. And, like, they were, like, this nemesis or something. This person was mean to me for no reason. But I look back at it now, and it feels so pathetic because I'm like, homie, you are 38. And, like, yeah, you're literally beefing with a 12-year-old. God, you're so fucking selfish. Die. I'm literally 12 years old. Hiya, it's Uncle Ralph. What do you say to a battle with me? Good, you're gonna do it. For a kid, you're quite agreeable. Route 32's the spot. Call your mom sometimes, too. Let's check on Go-Gurt real quick. Damn, I'm gonna need to go buy some freaking iron so I can... Getting a Hitmontop can be a real pain in the keister. I love Hitmontop, though, so it's worth that. I'm gonna put this everything on pause for just a minute after I heal here. I have to remember to go fight Ralph. But the beast is scratching at the door, and I have to run to the bathroom real quick. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Hi, cuties. Okay, the beast has been sated for now. So everybody grab your non-caffeinated, sugar-free drink of choice. I got my water right here. And take a sippy. Remember, hydrate or devil may cry hydrate. Ralph. I'm gonna go battle Ralph. Speaking of Devil May Cry, that's another game series where I basically want to stream every game in the series. I'm torn how I want to do the PS2 trilogy, though. Especially with the first one, because like a part of me really wants to play the original PS2 version. Especially because the original has a consistent 4x3 presentation. Because with all the HD remasters, even though it's a fantastic game, whether it's you could play it on PS2 or the HD version, with the HD remasters, the gameplay is in 16:9. All of the pre-rendered cutscenes are in 4x3 because it uses the original pre-rendered cutscenes from the PS2 version.
Hey, kid. No losing for me this day.
But the problem with playing the PS2 version is it has jump mapped to triangle, and you can't change it. Homegirl was not raised on Skyrim. I do not put jump on the triangle button. Shit, why did I send out Staryu against level 35 to Coolfish? Your girl is slipping. Min Pistol. Yeah, I actually do have the Devil May Cry HD collection for Xbox 360. I specifically got it digitally like about a week before the Xbox 360 store shut down. Because Capcom, basically everything that was on the 360 store that wasn't backward compatible on Xbox One, Capcom priced at $2.99. So I got like Resident Evil 0, the Resident Evil 1 remaster, Resident Evil 4, Remember Me, and the Devil May Cry HD collection. Which actually, with the exception of Remember Me, all of those are on Xbox One, but they actually have bespoke Xbox One versions instead of making the 360 versions backward compatible.
I tried the rush things.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Capcom's good for doing that when storefronts close. Pretty much redid the 3DS eShop. Yeah, I did that too. 3DS and the Wii U. I actually got Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, the complete version on Wii U, for like $2.99. Because even though at that point I already had the Xbox One and PC version, and I still have my original DS copies, I just bought the 3DS version of the Ace Attorney original trilogy just because it was $2.99. That said, I am so freaking glad that all of the Ace Attorney games from the 3DS have physical versions now. Because the English versions for all of them were digital only on 3DS. Because I don't think any of the Japanese physical 3DS Ace Attorney games had the English localizations included. Mentioned Monster Hunter reminded me that I should go back to MH Wild sometime. That's what I own so many Monster Hunter games, and I'm so bad at actually playing them. Because I gotta be in like a really specific mood for Monster Hunter. It's not something I can just pick up anytime. I actually have 3 Ultimate on Wii U. I have 4 Ultimate on 3DS. I've got Generations on 3DS. Kyle the Snack Bandit. Bought me a digital copy of Monster Hunter World on PS4, and I feel so bad because I played it for like an hour and haven't gone back to it. Picked up 3 Ultimate a few weeks ago on Wii U. Nice. I really want to get the Wii version of Monster Hunter Tri. Just because I really love playing big, expansive games on the original Wii. Especially if they have Pro Controller support. Yes, I have spent far too many hours of my life playing Xenoblade. Why do you ask? Monster Hunter is definitely one of those games I have to be in the mood for. But once I'm in a Monster Hunter mood, I'm all in for at least a month. I bet if I tried to stream some of the games, I'd probably really be into it. No, I think one of the reasons why I love having big, expansive games on the Wii is because not just on the Wii, but in general, I feel like in the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Wii era, games in general, I feel like had a very reduced scope as far as like sending you on a big adventure where you were free to roam. I partially think that's why open world games have become so popular in the last 10 years, is just as a counteraction to how short and linear a lot of games at the beginning of the HD era felt. Been doing that a lot lately. Been on a weird Wii kick. It's something in the air, because I've had the urge to really just play Wii games myself lately. I should really go hunting for games sometimes at my local used game stores when I have money that isn't going toward medical BS. See, that's your problem. You need to stop having health problems. That's a skill issue. I'm kidding. You can have as many health problems as you want. Just start having more money. I don't understand why poor people won't stop being poor. Like, what's wrong with them? Damn, you're right. Why didn't I think of those solutions? It's okay. That's why you have people like me to help remind you. It still reminds me of, like, part of me hopes it was satire, but someone born wealthy who was like, I don't feel bad for poor people because if you spent through all the trust fund you got when you were born, then, you know, that's on you. And, like, he had, like, I saw it in a screenshot, he had, like, maybe 1,000 likes and, like, 15,000 comments. And, like, he put a reply to his own tweet saying something like, okay, I guess not everyone's born with a trust fund. I'm sorry, I didn't know. And it's like, once again, part of me really hopes it was satire. Part of me kind of realizes it probably wasn't. But it does explain a lot that a lot of people born into money just assume that that's just the default for everybody. Because it is really weird how society not only puts people, like, who are victimized at the bottom of a system, but also treats those people like they did something wrong. Or people should just stop being Thor. I throw a Molotov in the face of those people. Don't need 11. Yeah, that's half my money. Ugh. Had a friend who was incredibly well off a few years back. Really is a different world. I really want Gogurt to be a Hitmontop. But I do not have the money for that iron right now. Shit, man, even in my game I'm poor. This sucks. Actually, not really. I just need to go fight the Elite Four 100 million times, and I just don't feel like doing that right now. That is one thing I'll absolutely give pretty much any of the Pokemon games past XY, is that in the post-game, they give you just ways you can just grind out tons of money. Gogurt simply must be a Hitmontop. Dude, nobody told me topping was this hard. Well, the thing is, right now, if I get him to level 20, he's going to be a Hitmonlee, and I already have Hitmonlee registered in the dex. Okay, Gogurt, we will resume your training when I'm a bit richer. Because Ring Pop is going to be a Hitmonchan. Why you don't get name brand stuff.
More like lame brand, am I right, fellas? Like, comment, and subscribe.
Eh. I'm gonna check Sunkern's learn set real quick. I'm gonna check my Pokedex. Do I have Vileplume or Blossom yet? It's crazy if I haven't done Vileplume or Blossom, because like those are basically my favorite grass types, at least from the early stuff. No, I do not have Vileplume. I don't know what made me think of this, but it's really wild to me that patents can exist as they do right now. Saying this with zero sarcasm, elucidate me, because I may not be thinking of the right thing. Oh, I don't have Blossom either. Gloom, gloom, gloom. Gloom, gloom, gloom. I want you in my room, room, room. Find my gloom. On paper, it seems fine. You prevent people from taking and profiting off your thing until you have someone patent something like insulin and charge however much they want for it, because the only person / company that... Oh, yeah. Well, keep in mind, most American laws are set up the way they are specifically to favor companies and corporations. So, like, the health and well-being of a regular person and stuff. Patent squatters for actually beneficial things are so awful. No, it's terrible. It's one of those things that it's like, how is this even allowed? Hi, Gavin.
Mots, good evening. It's me, Gavin. How you doing? How are your Pokemon doing? My Flareon's doing great, as ever. Let's keep at it and become Pokemon champs. Oh, and I managed to barely defeat Raticate the other day. I've never seen a Raticate get that strong. You shouldn't let your guard down, even against a Pokemon you're used to seeing. Okay, I'll see you soon.
I got a new friend invite on Steam. Blaze 276. Oh, that's me. I mean, the first things I see are Persona 4 Golden, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and Sonic Mania. I probably would have guessed. I love the Alucard PFP, by the way. Accept. Not to mention, it's an old handle. No, that screams account made between 2008 and 2012. The criminal has returned. I just put food out for you, you little hunger hussy. You sure I made it for the 2011 Sonic CD earliest? Honestly, completely valid. Criminal. Okay, if you'll sit in my lap and calm down, I'm not gonna just throw you outside. But if you're gonna be a little stinky butt, I will throw you right out of this room. The criminal loves you, for you feed them. They love being able to get food. Received a gift? Hello? It's like the Steam notifications being weird. Ending gifts. Oh my god, Seventh Forest, thank you so much! You bought... Sorry, the criminal stepped on my freaking microphone. Happy holidays, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm probably gonna play that for a little while, after the stream. That's awesome, thank you! Oh my gosh, I'm so looking forward to it. My own little criminal lurking in my closet. I mean, my closet's got a lot of room in it ever since I came out. Okay, Malted, please don't hit yourself. Yeah, I hear Zero's also broken in SVC Chaos. Which is just so appropriate. Okay, I cannot concentrate. You little dingle, hold... If you would just sit on my lap and hold still, I would not mind you being in here. super broken takes a little work, though. Well, I do really like that it's Mega Man Zero. Like, okay, it's Zero from Mega Man, but it's like Mega Man from the Mega Man Zero series. Okay, I don't know why, but she keeps wanting to hit my microphone. I should probably just throw her back out, but she's just gonna come right back in through the floor. Fucking Bethesda-ass cat phasing through the floor. Cyber Elves and everything. I guess SNK were really big fans. Well, in general, and I don't even remember what video this was. It might have been one of yours, and I apologize if I don't remember it being from one of your videos. But like SNK has almost this thing where like their devs do a little too much research, almost to where the point where like they make something super accurate without necessarily considering what the game balance of it would be. Because I've heard allegedly one of the reasons why like I can't even think of his name, the soccer player that was shoehorned into City of the Wolves was like a little dull because they actually made him play like a person in real life. But of course, like using the likeness of a sports star, they had limitations of what they could do. I hate to say it, but like, okay, the DJ guy makes sense because if you look at his stuff, even before he had anything to do with City of the Wolves, I think Salvatore is his name, he was doing a bunch of stuff, like he had a bunch of songs that referenced like King of Fighters and stuff. So him being in City of the Wolves makes sense, I feel, as a cool guest character. But I feel like the soccer player dude deflated so much of the potential popularity of City of the Wolves right out the gate. Okay, I'll be back in just a sec, guys. I have got to take care of this doofus. She will not hold still, and she keeps trying to go for my mic. A DJ I kind of get, don't really care for Ronaldo for a variety of reasons. The criminal to gay baby jail. Well, it looks like one of the other cats from like one of my neighbor's houses came over and ate all the food I put out for her. Though she was still hungry. So I just put some more food out and I made sure she was actually eating it and stood there with her for like a minute. Make sure she actually got to eat. So I guess I sent her to like gay baby restaurant. Like, I still really want to play City of the Wolves. But I feel like it started out with such a negative reputation. I feel like it killed its momentum really fast. How dare the other cat bully the criminal? That's our criminal. You can bully her. Well, I mean, she also bullies me, so... It's an unlimited crime loop. It's like that one ancient meme from like the mid-2000s where somebody has a surge protector plugged into itself and it just says infinite power. Who crimes the crimer? It's a really fun game. I don't blame people for being instantly put off by it at all. Again, like DJ, I'm pretty sure it's Salvatore. I was put off by him too until I looked up his actual stuff, and I'm like, okay, no, this is just a fighting game nerd getting to be playable in a fighting game. That, you know, he gets to be a big goofy goofus and like do all kinds of silly stuff. He's a little bit of kind of a joke character from what I've seen. So like, everything works because he's not going to be meta. So it's not like you're going to have to see said real person, you know, like showing up in every game of City of the Wolves. It's just like a fun little Easter egg for fans, so... Basically a fan being a fun Easter egg for fans. Yeah, he has a few knowledge checks, that's about it. Now, I do have a soft spot in my heart for fighting game characters who specifically exist for you to, like, if you actually win with them, your opponent just has their face in their hands, like, I can't believe I just lost to this guy, kind of, not this guy the player, but, like, this character. Because honestly, with Marvel 2, I love Servbot, and I wish that Servbot's damage scaling was better, because Servbot is really fun, and I love the fact that Servbot, of all things, can go infinite on Sentinel. Ha! Get inflicted with PlayStation Network. Hey, anybody out there remember when PlayStation Plus was actually a service and not just a way to gatekeep online play? Remember when PlayStation Plus was only $50 a year? So I admit, like, Nintendo's the only online service I pay for because, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, they're the only one that's actually worth it. Because the price is very reasonable and the amount of content you have access to is insanely good. So do I want to battle in Monogamy Town, or do I want to just go beat up the Stantlers around here? I think with the Hydrox, I want to get her to the level to learn, Moonlight, and then I'll evolve her into a Blossom. Some tightening up to do emulation-wise, but I've spent $50 on Wiss. Also, here's a fun fact, okay? The game Crusader of Sinti is on the Sega Genesis Nintendo Classics. To get a bare cartridge of Crusader of Sinti is about the same price as 10 years of getting Nintendo Switch expansion pack.
Yeah, I'm the move deleter. I can make your Pokemon forget moves. Shall I make a Pokemon forget?
I'm sorry, Hydrox, you're losing your ability to flash. Before you even got your dress, I'm so sorry. One can never truly forget. It's expensive. It is insane how expensive Crusader of Sinti is. And then I noticed it had an Atlas logo on the box and it all started making sense. I had an old joke with one of my coworkers who is also a video game nerd. You know, what's the difference between a $10 game and a $100 game? An Atlas logo. Which that's not really the case now, thankfully. I feel like ever since Sega purchased Atlas, they've actually been reasonably priced. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, this changed after Sega bought them, but before the Sega acquisition, when they belonged to like Index Corporation, that's a common thing with Atlas games. Well, okay, to be fair, that is worth yelling. I didn't think anything weird about it. It's all good. But no, the thing is, almost every Atlas game from like, especially things before PS2, ludicrously expensive on the secondhand market. The reason why they're not ludicrously expensive now is because in the mid-2010s, Sega reprinted both the PS2 Yakuza games, and they also reprinted, it might have been it was sometime in the late 2010s, I think. It was like really late for PS2, but they reprinted both the Yakuza games, and then Sega also commissioned a bunch of reprints of Nocturne, both the digital Devil Sagas. I don't think they ever did reprints of the Raido Kuzunoha games, because I know that Devil Summoner 2 for PS2 is like a $200 game right now, I think. But no, almost every single Atlas game prior to being acquired by Sega, with the exception of stuff like Persona and my brain just flatlined, give me a sec. With the exception of Persona and some of the 3DS SMT games, almost every Atlas game prior to their acquisition by Sega got one print run. Ever. The only reason Disgaea Hour of Darkness got additional print runs was because of it got a Greatest Hits release, and the publishing switched over to NIS after, because NIS actually didn't have a North American branch when Disgaea 1 came out, so it was published by Atlas. Fucking exploding bastard. God fucking damn it. For Yakuza reprints, that's how I got 2. It was expensive for a while beforehand. Oh, I love streaming some white screen with text on it. I actually need to go ahead and grab PS2 copies of 1 and 2. Like, my Yakuza collection is really weird because I've grabbed whatever games I could find when they were on sale. So I have Zero and Kiwami on PS4. I have Kiwami 2 on Xbox One. I have Yakuza 6 on PS4. And I have, Like a Dragon, like the first one with Ichiban, on Xbox One. My Xbox One copy is actually a steelbook. It was the first print run steelbook of the Xbox One version, and it was on clearance at Walmart for $15. Also, funner fact, I think they still have some on either, I don't remember if it's PNP or VGP, but I know they still had some, like, god fucking damn it. Sorry. I know they still had some new copies of PS1 Final Fantasy IX in circulation. I have the steelbook for Kiwami 1 on PS4. Weirdly not a steelbook person. I'm like 50-50. Most of the time I prefer the regular box. Though I do like, at least with Persona 5's steelbook, that they have a slip cover, so it'll have a PlayStation 4, like, banner when you have the slip cover over it. Also, that weird phase during the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era, where, like, a few games for PS3 and 360, like, multi-platform, would have steelbooks, but since PlayStation 3 games had, like, the modern, shorter Blu-ray size cases, but Xbox 360 games had the tall DVD cases, you'd get stuff like Devil May Cry 4 having 2 different steelbooks. Square Enix have a new copy of Chrono Cross, Final Fantasy Anthology, and 9 on their online store. Oh, it went beyond the 2010s. They had them until like 2022. Maybe 2023? Like, it was really recent that they ran out. And they didn't even stop carrying them, they just ran out of stock. Which is annoying, because, like, my Final Fantasy Origins copy, that has, like, Final Fantasy 1 and 2, there's nothing wrong with the disc, it's just, like, I only have the disc. Because I got it at, like, a pawn shop. Like, a long time ago. And I actually wanted to get a complete copy of Final Fantasy Origins from the Square Enix store. But, like, I put it on my Square Enix store wish list, and then they were gone when I went back to buy it. And I'm like, damn it. Guess I misremembered. They had a good chunk of DS games, yeah, which was really awesome. I just love that it, all that stuff is still available in, like, 2019, 2020. You could just go buy a brand new copy of Kingdom Hearts 2 or Final Fantasy X. I am getting really tired of these Gravelers bullshit. No, the thing is, I'm pretty sure most of it sold out over COVID, and the last little bit of stock hung in there for like a year or two. Also, don't worry about misremembering that time frame, because, dude, like, everything from 2019 until now has been a fucking blur. Like a nonsensical hodgepodge where time doesn't matter. At least for me. I don't like the economy either, Gobbler, but come on! Also, Yeah, 2020 to 2023 is kind of a blur for me as well. But like, one thing is like, with my streaming and stuff, I want to stream a lot of my favorites. Okay, I know you've eaten this time, you little skunk. You just now you're just in here to cause problems. Oh wait, you don't want to self-destruct now, Graveler, that I have a steel type. It's over twice your level. Oh, now you want to throw rocks, I see. Hi Cole, how are you doing today on this Wednesday evening? We're just grinding up some Pokemon Crystal. But, the problem is, there's no good way to play The World Ends With You outside of playing it on an original DS. Because the game, like, to get the real The World Ends With You experience, is even playing it on a DS emulator won't work. It's like, you really have to be holding the DS in your hand with the stylus in one hand to really play the game as it was designed. Because, like, while I do enjoy the fact that the Switch port exists, it just isn't the original experience. It's a totally different game. It has the same story, but it really is a totally different game from a gameplay perspective. I love how much 2D's built around the DS, but it makes it really hard to preserve. Doing well, just got finished watching a few episodes of One Piece. Nice, nice. That's a show that, like, I do actually want to catch up on One Piece one day, but holy shit. Funnily enough, I think Wii U's probably the one platform that could have done it accurately. I mean, a part of me, I just wish I could get like a DS Lite with a capture card or a DSi with a capture card or something, but that's gotten just untenably expensive, and I would just not have enough uses for it. Because the thing is, most DS games that I like to play would just play better on an emulator with a controller. Like the Castlevania trilogy, New Super Mario Brothers, stuff like that. Yeah, it's weird how namby-pamby so many third parties were about what and how they would support the Wii U, or in what regions. Like, fun fact, in Japan, the Sonic Advance games got Wii U re-releases. That's the only time any of them have ever been re-released. Only on the Japanese Wii U, which is really weird because Sonic is much less popular in Japan than it is anywhere else. Something I was considering for video purposes. Well, it depends, because I, definitely do want, like I said, I'm going to get a capture device in general for streaming so I can use my regular consoles. But also, hi Secret Potion or Secret X Potion. I don't know if you're doing it Project Cross Zone or Hunter x Hunter style. Secret Cross Potion. But thank you so much for coming in. My name is Nikea, aka Mots the Gaming Mouse. We love to play JRPGs, retro, indies, and a whole lot more. I'm a loud little mouse that likes to talk way too much about video games. Professional yapper. It's my favorite game, Pokemon Crystal. I love Crystal. It is absolutely a joy to play. We've actually already beaten all 16 of the gems. I haven't fought Red yet, but I want to fill up the Pokedex and get my team to at least like level 65 or 70 before I fight Red. Got a Switch capture card sitting on here somewhere. I miss Project Cross Zone. Project Cross Zone's so cool, but I don't know if it'll ever, like, we'll ever get another one. Because, like, it actually has a whole heritage, because there's, like, the intersection of, like, Namco Cross Capcom for PS2, and then there was, like, Super Robot Tyson OG Saga Endless Frontier, which that got 2 games, the second of which is Japan only, and then, like, the DNA goes from there to Project Cross Zone, and then Cross Zone 2, and it's like... And the thing is, like, it also kind of shares some DNA with Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans.
Hello there, Tully here. It's a great night for fishing. How's your trip coming along? I can't complain about my fishing. Oh yeah, I lost a wild goldbag. It was huge, like this big even. I guess you can't tell over the phone. Well, I'll be seeing you.
Secret potion item in this game that cures Ampharos at the lighthouse. I kind of figured that part. Again, you said Crystal was your favorite game, so I'm like, oh yeah, the secret potion. I just didn't know if you wanted to pronounce the X or not. Also, as much as I love Crystal, it always makes me sad that you can't get Ampharos without trading in this game. Because I feel like just Ampharos is so essential to being part of, like, the gold-silver experience. Everybody grab your sugar-free, non-caffeinated drink of choice and take a sippy. It's time to hydrate. I got my water tumbler right here. I love having Phanpy so much more. Oh, I love being able to get Phanpy in the early game. Donphan is, like, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Granted, I love so many of the Gen 2 Pokemon. Namco Cross Capcom's great because they have Hot Summer Boy Dig Dug. That's before he got divorced. Also, Namco Cross Capcom has freaking Klonoa and Mega Man Volnut, so it's automatically based as hell. I like how that's not even a joke. No, it's not! That's canon. On that note, everybody go play Mr. Driller. The Mr. Driller games are actually freaking amazing. Shit, I should stream Mr. Driller. Of course, since, like I've mentioned before, I do want to buy, like, a capture device, I do have the PlayStation 1 Classic. I could just stream Mr. Driller from that whenever I get, like, a, capture thingy. Okay, I can't remember the name of it. There's a current gen Mr. Driller game. It's a remaster of a GameCube game. It's got like a peak art style and it's really freaking good. I own it on PS5 and I can't remember the name. Please stop headbutting me. Not you guys. You guys can headbutt me. I'm talking to this fuzzy little criminal. You have been fed. What do you want? Do not make out with my microphone. Drill land, yes. Oh hey, the original PS1 Mr. Driller is available for $10 on freaking PS4 and 5. That's awesome. I was actually in the middle of looking that up when you said it, 7th. Want your attention. For what? She's been fed. Oof. Thing is, I'm actually giving her attention. You can't have it, cat. Yeah, okay, that's the thing. If I wasn't streaming, she would not give a damn. She would have either stayed outside, or she would just come in and just sit on the floor. You know, it's really good I'm not playing like an action game on stream right now. She's headbutting my hands while I'm holding the controller. She needs to be fed to the second power. You know, again, if she would just get comfy and sit still in a little ball, I wouldn't even mind her being on my lap while I stream. With cats, love is stored in the head bonks. Your proper feeding when desires lap naps. Honestly, that's not cat exclusive. The idea of just having a really good meal and then snuggling up to somebody and taking a cute little nap actually sounds amazing. Lap nap redemption. Like, how many problems in the world could be solved if we could all just have nice, warm, comfy snuggles? I'd estimate around 86%. See, that's why for all my neurodivergency and depression and other issues I have to deal with, I'm still a relatively amicable and stable person because my mom hugged me when I was a kid. Heck, I still got hugs from my mom even into adulthood because sometimes I just hug my mom because I could, because you can just do that. It's almost like raising your child with love, care, affection, and dignity helps them be a better and more stable person in their adult life or something. Hi, Hoenn Veteran, welcome in! Thank you for dropping by. My name is Micaiah, aka Mots the Gaming Mouse. We play JRPGs, retro, indies, and so much more. Nice nicknames. Thank you. All my Pokemon nicknames are actually, they're all snacks. All they have some like snacks and foods and drinks and stuff like that. See, me being in an Asian household where hugs do not exist, that makes me very sad. Everything is soup now, which is a sign I should probably go to bed. Have a good night. Good night, Rain. Have a good resting. I hope you have a really comfy sleep where, like, you wake up kind of stiff because you actually slept in the same position and really rested. Sleep well, Rain. Be careful with the soup. Me when I meet the Digivolution requirements and I can turn my salad into super salad. Don't worry, Guru. I will give you hugs in spirit if you want to be hugged. But how are you doing on this lovely evening, well, I guess middle of the afternoon for you? See, 12 hours ago I was at your stream. Yeah, no, it was about 12 hours ago when you ended your stream, so yeah. I mean, love is being shown, but not by body contact. I mean, part of it's cultural, because, like, my mom did not get hugged much as a child either. But she was very much the person in her lineage who broke all the cycles of distance and, you know, all that it builds character kind of bullshit. Doing good, just finishing up this page. The same page from this, well, this morning, I guess would be last night for you. Yeah, we're just doing our usual crystal grind and filling up the decks. I love different time zone relationships. So you're just hitting someone with a good morning, sleep tight. Time zones are funny in that way, but it's annoying that I can Velcro stick on because they need to sleep. Ow. I mean, as somebody who's had, like, just a band-aid ripped off of my arm hair as, like, a jump scare, I cannot— ow, ow, ouch. That someone says you have a good nightmare at work. Yeah, since I've mostly been training other stuff, I'll go ahead and show my main team since Hoenn Veteran and Secret Potion came in. I don't think they've seen the main squad yet. But now the team of 6 I'll be raising up for Red. Sure, that TikTok where I got the idea from, it's so cursed. Sounds amazing / horrible. I have 2 of the teammates hanging out. We have Musketeers, the Magneton. Maxtos, the Firo. Aki, the Arcanine. Doritu, the Meganium. Titochu, the Quagsire. And Jelly Belly, the Espeon. Who needs alarms when you got Velcro? Jokes aside though, Velcro is one of those fascinating inventions because it's such a simple design, but it's so incredibly effective. Velcro pubes, the Velcubes. I'm sorry, but with that concept, I just imagine like you and your sweetheart going at it, and it just sounds like somebody's in the room just tearing a piece of paper apart. Like Taki and Jelly Belly. The whole squad here, like, well, pretty much every Pokemon I've catched. That's good English, great job. Every Pokemon I've caught, I have, and the nicknames are all like snacks and stuff like that. Because, you know, Musketeers is like the Three Musketeers candy bar, because Magneton, you know, it's 3 of them, eh? Babe, I'm all for women with hair, but please shave. I can't handle Velcro bush. I mean, Velcro is actually really scratchy if you've ever, like, accidentally rubbed up against Velcro. It's like, I guess it has, like, the soft side and the scratchy side. But that does remind me, like, okay, one of the weird neurodivergent things is I have a real... I can do it better now, but for most of my life, I've had a really hard time tying shoes. Or just, like, tying knots in general. I don't know why, it's just one of those things that never really clicked properly with my brain. So, most of my shoes that I've owned have been Velcros. Bless you. What if soulmates work like Velcro? Look for the soft side of your bush. Speaking of Pokemon, I got the new Digimon starter decks for myself as a Christmas gift. Ah, cool. Oh, I don't think I ever mentioned it. I might have mentioned it on another stream. He's rocking that Sketcher fit. I don't think I mentioned, but I did actually manage to find some Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering booster packs at Walmart the other day. And the cool thing is, I actually pulled the mythic rare freaking Cloud Strife, and I was so happy. Because that was like one of the cards I really wanted from the set, but it's also like a $20 card secondhand, and I was never gonna pay that. Because I'm a cheap hoe. Aftercare Kettle's about to go crazy. Congrats on the poll. Thank you. I also got like a few cards from like Final Fantasy IX, and I got the freaking suplex card where it shows Sabin suplexing the train from 6. I'm like, yes. I know that one's just a common, but that was also like one of my top 5 most wanted cards. Get froze. It's so hard to find Final Fantasy Magic booster packs because it's not only the best-selling Magic set, but it's like every time it shows up, it sells out instantly. Because, like, it's weird. I really actually would like to play Magic again. Lately, I've mostly been just keeping up with it with like YouTube videos. You know, like Nitzahone and Okorojo and um, Professor Tolarian Academy. And that's been cool and stuff, but it's just like, I love playing the game. And I think I've mentioned this before, but man, I always wish that Magic the Gathering had a GBA or DS game or something back in the day, like the old Yu-Gi-Oh games, where you could just have a little mini RPG where you just play Magic the Gathering. It's the magic of the femboys. I really want all the job equipment cards. I would honestly like to collect the whole set. I don't care about the alternate art, just the regular cards in the set. Just because I love Final Fantasy. I guess, spoiler, but eventually I'm probably going to play every single-player Final Fantasy numbered game on Steam. And probably a lot of the spin-offs, too. I'm honestly indecisive which version of Final Fantasy XII I want to stream. I do have a big soft spot for the PS2 version, and a part of me really loves the open license board. But on the other hand, it's like, then I remember the fucking nightmare of trying to get the Zodiac Spear, and I'm like, maybe I'll stick with Zodiac Age after all. Mods? It's me, Dana. My Psyduck's getting prettier. I've been taking photos galore. You know what? Oh wow, and Raticate got away from me again. So close. Really, just a little bit more and I would've... See ya! Also, it should be noted, I have nothing against Final Fantasy 11 or 14. It's just that, like, I just don't really play MMOs. Because honestly, a game that constantly updates like an MMO or a gacha is incompatible with also completing your single-player games that you own. Because eventually, even if it's something you enjoy, an MMO or an online game will become a job. Because if you don't keep playing and keep up with everything, especially if it's got any kind of PvP element, then you're just sunk forever. What FF job do you see yourself as? You know, honestly, I'm not really sure. I just want someone to call you in a full panic and just hangs up like that. Oh no, Dana's great. It's just like, oh my fucking god, Eradicate. Bye. Bless you. You see, my problem with like trying to determine which Final Fantasy job would I be is like, I'm very much the kind of person who would be like I like with Final Fantasy V or Tactics where I can just like switch between job classes and, you know, adapt to whatever the situation is. Honestly, I love the dress sphere from Final Fantasy X too. Musketeer does not concern themselves with the self-destruct. Somebody just calls and goes, so, I just saw a huge little beast with a crooked tail. My past scared the crap out of me. Anyways, I caught a Murkrow last night. See ya. Actually, that reminds me, I should probably just go ahead and use the Master Ball on Raikou or Entei next time I run into them. Because the great thing about Crystal is you only ever have to actually hunt one of the legendary beasts. Because you can, obviously Suicune you get as part of the story, and, you know, with either Raikou or Entei, just lob the Master Ball. So you really only have to hunt the third one. As much as I love the original releases of Gold and Silver, holy shit, having to run down 2 of those things is exhausting. I say run down 2 because you're gonna lob a Master Ball at 1. Getting real tired of your bullshit, Graveler. Oh, to Lava Ball. You know, that randomly made me think of the enemy Lob from Mario Clash on Virtual Boy. I wish there was an easy way to play Virtual Boy games on Steam. I mean, I know I could use an emulator and stuff like that, but I feel like you don't really get the full effect. Mario Clash is so freaking good, though. The fact that it, like, the concept and design were limited to one singular release in Virtual Boy is a freaking tragedy. In fact, I'll go ahead and say it. Mario Clash is flat out the best interpretation of the original 1983 Mario Brothers arcade game. But in addition to being exclusive to Virtual Boy, the original release of it has 99 levels and no save feature. It does have a thing where, like, from the main menu, you can select any level between 1 and 50. We just got caved in. Our oxygen levels are dropping rapidly. Anyway, bye! I don't think I've ever played Mario Clash. If you're ever in the Virtual Boy mood, in whatever fashion that strikes you, whether it's an emulator or you're one of the nutcases like me that has it on original hardware, absolutely try Mario Clash. Like I said, if you want the best version of the Mario Arcade original, because here's the thing, it doesn't have multiplayer, it's Virtual Boy, but each stage is set where it's basically you clear a stage by clearing all the enemies, and you do it by using Koopa shells and throwing them around to different spots on the screen. You have a Virtual Boy, I only have a VB emulator on 3DS. I do indeed have... Okay, not only do I have a Virtual Boy, I grew up with a Virtual Boy. AO3 Author Notes Core. Like, real, though. Yeah, okay, when I was a kid, my mom got me a Virtual Boy on clearance for $15. Brand new. And I grew up with Mario's Tennis, Mario Clash, Wario Land, and Panic Bomber. But my Virtual Boy story gets even crazier. Even though I still had my Virtual Boy games, for whatever reason, my Virtual Boy was one of those things that got lost when we moved. Again, I still had my 4 games. And, in, like, 2010, 2011, my mom found a complete in-box Virtual Boy at a thrift store for $10. The box was a little raggedy, and it was already open, but it had everything in there. When my mom gets home with said Virtual Boy... Oh, and she also had bought a copy of Galactic Pinball, which was $2 at the same thrift store. Okay, no. When we get home, the top part of the flap on the top is unsealed, and, like, the top part's completely almost missing. Not the whole top part, but it's like the part of the flap that gets shoved in is removed. I go in there. Virtual Boy is in great condition. It works. It's got the controller, the little plug-in to plug it into the wall. And at the bottom of the Virtual Boy box is 10 games. Like Mario Clash, Panic Bomber, Wario Land, Mario's Tennis. So I have like 2 copies of all my childhood ones now. And then there was like Vertical Force, Red Alarm, I think Teleroboxer. I don't have any of the expensive ones. Like, unfortunately, they didn't have, like, Jack Brothers or anything. Dude, if I had a copy of Jack Brothers, I could have just quit my job and sold that. I'm kidding. What am I doing? Yeah, dude. No, my mom was insane. She would just, like, go on her little thrift store adventures. The things she's come home with have included, her text messaging me one day saying, I found some Game Boy games. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she comes to pick me up from work that day, and we go to, like, a Wendy's nearby to get something to eat because we were both hungry. And she pulls out of her purse complete in-box copies of Golden Sun, Sword of Mana, and both GBA Fire Emblems. You know, I thought about it for a bit. I think he'd be a summoner who summons their favorite Eidolon to show others who also uses red magic. It's interesting that you say that because Eidolons and summons are one of my least favorite things in Final Fantasy. But she'd do stuff like that. She found a complete in-box copy of Illusion of Gaia for $2. The thing is, like, she would know what kind of games I like. Like, she knew I loved RPGs and stuff like that. And as I've mentioned before, she also loved video games. She wasn't really into retro. Most of her thing was, like, she liked stuff from, like, the PS2 onward. But she knew what I liked, and she was familiar with stuff. She also recognized Squaresoft/Square Enix. So if she ever saw anything with a Square Enix logo, she would just buy it. And she's like, well, if you already have it, now you have 2. I miss when you could get secondhand games easy. Yeah, it sucks because everything you just have to go through eBay now, and the prices are so standardized, it's so hard to find deals. Keep in mind, all of these stories I'm telling, almost all of these are before, like, 2015. Back when you could just go into a thrift store and find Super Nintendo or PS1 games for, like, $1 or $2. Bless you. Completely missed the job choices. It's okay. And it is weird, as much as I love, like, stuff like Pokemon, that I don't really care for summons and Eidolons. Sorry it took me 3 days to update. I got kidnapped by a man with a wide mustache who tied me to train tracks. Anyway, back to Bill Cipher Doomed Yowie. I don't even think we have thrift stores around here aside from Goodwill. Yeah, and again, Goodwill has the same problem as, like, eBay, to where, like, the prices are standardized. So I did get my copy of Parasite Eve from a Goodwill in, like, 2012, complete in box for $3. I mean, we used to have Mercari, but they opened up to a foreign market, and the chance of getting merch is really low. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is, like, a lot of issues with places in Akihabara, you used to be able to go get stuff for, like, dirt-ass cheap, but a bunch of foreign collectors came in and decided to buy out everything in Japan and flip it on eBay. Because that's the thing, is prospective marketing is ruining literally every hobby. Because trading cards and games and all that shit are treated like they're fucking investment banking now, and it's bullshit. Like, it's great and it became more accessible, but man, I want to get anime merch back when it was like 100 yen. Now, I've said this before, is, I miss when nobody gave a shit about the things I liked. You know, just like me and my small group of cool people who are very enthusiastic about a Super Nintendo game we found for $4. Managed to get a replacement copy of Parasite for $10 if you... Hell yeah. Though, just to be sure, I actually did still buy it digitally for PlayStation 3. Because one thing... I'd mentioned this to Maddie when we were chatting the other day. Is like... I really enjoy not only having a game on multiple platforms, but having both physical and digital versions of games. I don't often double dip on the same platform. But, like, you know, I've got my physical Parasite Eve PS1 copy, and I also have it digitally for, like, PlayStation 3 and stuff. I have it for that too, but P is one of those games I just need... Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. He started on anime trading culture here in Japan that got ruined by scalpers. Before, secondhand shopping was almost like trading. Like, you'd get a trading card, you don't want to sell it, which means the next person can get what they want. And merch would never run out. But no, that's the thing, is like now scalpers will just hoard everything and try to like monopolize the availability. So you have to go through them and their shit-ass gouged prices. It doesn't help that way too many companies try to manufacture this scarcity too. To the point where, like with Magic the Gathering as an example, a lot of people, since they used to do the Magic the Gathering secret layers, which were like special print runs of cards. They'd either have special art or they'd be like tie-ins to other properties. But with the secret layers, they were limited print run, but originally when the secret layers started, they would take unlimited pre-orders and they would print to order. So if 20,000 people ordered it, every single person would get what they ordered, and that's the amount that was printed. But now they have a finite amount they set to, like, they're just going to print X amount, and how many ever sell, well, they're just sold out then, and you have to get in a queue and wait. And the thing is, like, people have just started calling modern secret layers scalper bait. And I feel like a lot of video game stuff is like that too. They're trying to specifically sell to scalpers because the scalpers will buy it out. And obviously the corporates don't care about the secondhand market. They don't care about the general consumer. But it looks really good on your report that X thing sold out instantly. Because it's like, I also... I know I'm saying this as somebody who likes to have a big collection of video games, but every video game I own is something I want to play. And I hate the hoarding mentality where people will just sit on dozens of copies of something. I feel like scalpers hit in waves. I don't remember having problems like that in late 2010s. Oh no, it's something that, like, it was an issue here and there, but it became really exacerbated in 2020. Especially when people started getting really big back into hobbies, because, like, you're fucking stuck at home, you got nothing to do. So scalpers started going ham because they saw a market that was, you know, hobby markets were all exploding, so they just looked at it as dollar signs. And looked at a new field to exploit. My scope's very small, but I'm not looking into various things. No, like, this has always been a problem here and there, but no, it got really bad in 2020. And it kind of petered out a little bit in, like, 22, 23. I hate complaining is such a first world problem, but it makes me angry. Well, okay, here's the thing. Is you do not come between the people and their little treats. It doesn't matter whether you're first world or anywhere else in the world, you need those things to look forward to. It's important to your mental well-being. Because we're all struggling to various degrees. Almost everybody has something they have to do, whether it's work, whether they're worried about things financially. But the thing is, being able to sit down with that video game, being able to pop open a fresh pack of trading cards, being able to get that anime doll, or just watch your favorite show on Netflix, that is important. It's part of what makes life worthwhile. I once had to watch a scalper buy all the Hello Kitty merch. He looked so gross. No, they're always, like, the worst fucking people, too. I'm not even talking about looks or anything. I'm just like, they always have snotty, nasty attitudes, and they're always super smug about getting in there and trying to get something before everyone else can so they can flip it. And I'm like, you're smug about the fact that you're stealing money from other people's pockets. There's nothing wrong with complaining about little things in moderation. It's good to vent built-up steam, that's true. Oh, speaking of Steam, I need to make sure I download FVC Chaos. Ooh, I knew what you meant, Maddie.
Hello, it's me, Alan. I've studied quite a bit since then. I've gotten a lot better. I'm hanging out on Route 36. Can you come down for a battle? See you later.
Alright, let's go battle Alan. It's exactly what he looked like. Don't you know everything? I do, actually. That's why I have a gaming trivia thing you can redeem. Looks like you would stink of BO, too. I saw that coming a while away. Give me just a sec to rummage through the brain space for which trivia I feel like grabbing. Yeah, because you know everything. Scalper is stuck in their house with so much cardboard they can build a cat mansion. No, it was so fucking funny to me when Sony actually dedicated themselves to printing a good amount of PlayStation 5s, and a bunch of scalpers were selling the PS5s they had, like, massively overbought for, like, $299 or $399 just because they were so desperate to get rid of the stock. Because nobody wanted to buy from a scalper anymore because you could just walk into Walmart and buy a PS5. It's like, I'm not ignoring the game trivia. I'm trying to... I always have like 500 random pieces of trivia in my head until somebody actually hits the redeem, and then like my brain just fogs. Guess they have a bunch of kindling. Do I risky this biscuit? Trivia is always fun. Yep, I did a fucky wucky. I completely was not thinking about the level. Don't worry, I won't let you sidestep the trivia. I know you won't. Ah, I got it. Give me a sec here. I need to double check one quick thing to make sure I pronounce this person's name correctly. Okay. The company Toonsoft has a very long history of being foundational to RPGs. It was originally founded by Koichi Nakamura, who had the nickname Toon. That's where the name of the company comes from. They were one of the primary developers of the first Dragon Quest. And the thing is, the first ever Mystery Dungeon game was actually a Dragon Quest spin-off. It was, you played as Torneko from Dragon Quest IV. And it actually got a sequel on the original PlayStation called Torneko: The Last Hope that did get a North American release. So the Mystery Dungeon series is actually tied to Dragon Quest, because both Dragon Quest and Mystery Dungeon were based on computer games, Western RPGs actually, that were really enjoyed by Nakamura and Yuji Horii. Because Dragon Quest was inspired by Ultima and to a lesser extent Wizardry. And Mystery Dungeon was actually inspired by Rogue. So yes, regardless of what people say, Mystery Dungeon was intended from its essence to be a rogue-like. As a free bonus semi-trivia, the Namco arcade game Tower of Druaga. Use that from last night. Well, I was only talking to you last night, so bleh. But as a bonus piece of Mystery Dungeon trivia, Tower of Druaga, the Namco arcade game from the 80s, has a sequel on PlayStation 2 called Nightmare of Druaga Fushigi no Dungeon, and it is really freaking good. Play it. Bleh yourself. I might just. The early 80s Western RPG enjoyer to Japanese RPG pipeline is so fascinating. I mean, that's the thing, and okay, even though I'll say JRPG here and there, I don't like separating Japanese and Western RPGs because they're not different. They have the same origins, they should have the same fans, and the divide is really freaking weird to me, especially because that divide is largely a product of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era. Because I don't... Like, talking personally as someone who is super into RPGs near the end of the Super Nintendo and early PlayStation era, basically from then until the rest of my life, nobody ever used the term JRPG or differentiated an RPG being developed in Japan. You know, like, people did not consider Diablo and Fallout 1 and Final Fantasy 7 to be wildly different genres. They would distinguish on gameplay. It's like, oh, you know, they call, like, I think people would call, like, Diablo like a click. Okay, I know it sounds weird to call it a point and click in the modern context, but they call it a point and click RPG because you click on monsters. So they call Diablo a point and click RPG. You know, like, and say, oh, you know, because one of the recommendations from Final Fantasy Tactics, people would say, oh, if you have a good computer, I'd check out Fallout. Talking, literally speaking in terms of location, that it's super cool. Ultima's so foundational. It is. They inspire each other, so separating them is counterproductive. It really is, because, like, Xenoblade takes so much from Western RPGs, but then you have something like The Witcher with its strong character focus. It very heavily is inspired by Japanese RPG design. It's just like, they all link together and work together, and treating them like they're these completely separate things is just so bizarre. I always laugh at Western anime fans who make fun of Disney when... No, that's the thing is, like, I use anime as a verbal shorthand because people get an idea in their head of what I'm talking about, but anime is just cartoons. Astro Boy wouldn't exist without Disney. So when people make jokes like, oh, you know, King of the Hill is my favorite anime, I'm like, that's valid. Because it's just cartoons. It's just that I feel like the English word cartoon has a lot of negative stigma, especially in the US. Because, you know, they think about something cheap and simple made for little kids. But hey, at least you didn't have to be around for the late 80s and early 90s soul-crushingly cringe-inducing terminology of Japanimation. Which, like, it wasn't meant in an offensive way, it was done to market it, but it's just like, ew. I don't know why, but even back then, when it was a semi-common term, ding ding ding. It was like a semi-common term to use, I still didn't like it. It sounded so weird. Well, that and my first thing I thought was, why do you need to separate Japanese animation from any other animation? Can't wait for manhwa. Oh no, like, the manhwa and manga fans get in fights over the terminology when, like, guys, it's just comics. It's just a comic book, it's fine. It has to be an anime set in Texas. If there isn't, I want it made.
My daddy, who passed away sadly when I was but 14 years old, named me after his two favorite things. I'm Hamburger Shotgun, and I am gonna be the #1 cowboy.
And of course he's blonde with blue eyes and drinks a lot. Shake hands. Hamburger Shotgun, my goat! The American flag undies, of course. Main character looked like Peter Parker in the 90s Spider-Man animation. It's honestly a mild pet peeve of mine how many depictions of Batman and Spider-Man have them looking super jacked, buff, and beefy when, like, these are supposed to be lithe ninja characters. Like, I get someone like Captain America or Superman being, like, Omega jacked all to hell and stuff, because they're, like, super strong, but it's like, you know, Batman, like, crouches. I'm sorry, it's almost midnight and I'm losing my ability to English. You know, Batman prowls and crouches on rooftops like a freaking gargoyle. Spider-Man, like, holds himself upside down by thread. These are not characters made to be Omega Beefcakes. Yeah, how could you say such a thing? I thought we were friends. Listen, okay, you have to keep in mind, Guru Neko, if everyone is a beefcake, no one is a beefcake. The skinny twinks must exist so the beefcakes can thrive. I guess you could say it's a bear market. I don't mind it for stylized Batman adaptations, but it's funny as hell for Spidey. I mean, Batman the Animated Series gets a free pass because it's so fucking amazing. Spider-Man looks better with lean. Yeah, Spider-Man should definitely be lean muscles. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Like, I would definitely have both characters be like, you know, they'd still have a six-pack, but they'd have, like, more runner builds. But now that I think about it, their asses wiggling around as they sneak. Exactly. See, Spider-Man's... I feel like Spider-Man in a lot of old superhero costumes that are, like, super skin tight exist, so the artist wouldn't have to spend a lot of time drawing clothing folds. Batman the Animated Series is what I had in mind. I mean, like, yeah, the thing is, like, the whole series is so stylized, though, I can forgive Batman being a Dorito. Batman being huge well, I think, okay, it's less egregious for Batman, but it is incredibly egregious when Spider-Man's a super buff muscle guy. You have a point. I do love me size difference couples. See? I need Spidey Pool to have a size difference so you guys are cooking. But you see, couldn't you absolutely see Deadpool being all buff? And then Spidey's like, I don't remember you being this tall or this big. And then Deadpool would literally just say some shit like, yeah, the Yowie writer wanted to make you bigger so they could do a size different ship. And Spidey's like, what are you talking about? I spend more time drawing the bulges. Math isn't mathing. Save time on drawing clothes. I gotta deal with these toned asses. I mean, gay wasn't invented in the 2010s. Sometimes, honestly, I think a lot of these artists wanted to just draw naked men with toned asses, and their suits are basically painted on. 5'6" lean muscle Spidey and 6'2" somewhat Dorito Deadpool. You know, Maddie just came in the kitchen and said, I'm cooking. He would say that, he would! No, actually, there was this really cool... unfortunately, it doesn't have an official English dub or anything. But there's this really cool Marvel anime, I think that was like... It was like... Not exactly a Beyblade kind of thing, but it was like Marvel Figure Battle or something like that. Where it was basically kids had a game they were playing where they summoned the Marvel characters. And they'd kind of be like their partners, like Digimon. And of course, one of them had like the Deadpool partner. And, you know, one of the scenes I vividly remember watching is Deadpool getting summoned, and he's like, oh shit, wait, I'm in a Japanese anime now. That means I can finally have my own sexy figures. And I don't remember what company was publishing it, but he pointed to the screen, and he's like, get to it, you know, like whatever the animation company was. And like, that is so good, oh my god. Because I love, even though it's adaptation written for a Japanese market, by a Japanese creative team, they just still captured Deadpool so perfectly. Stand behind an industrial fridge, and most of his arms still visible. They're always on point with Peter's tight ass. Which is concerning, because he's in high school, when the women would make the comment. For Miguel, it isn't as bad since he's in his mid-20s, but man. I mean, to be fair, in most modern Spider-Man things, they seem to have Peter, like, in college, or hell, I haven't really played the Insomniac Spider-Man, but I think he's like in his early 30s, like, or something like that, getting like an actual job as a teacher. An anime where Deadpool's voiced by Dio, that might be it. It's not too old. I think it's from like either the late 2000s or the early 2010s. The late 2000s were 20 years ago, okay, oh my god. How'd they get Dio in the studio? Damn. Well, the thing is, he's one of the most efficient voice actors because he can just stop time, do all the acting, and resume, and so he's done in just like a minute. Early to mid-20s, I think, in the PS4 games. Okay. I guess it's half his name. Maybe they tricked him. I'm asking which Spider-Man she's talking about. Because I actually did snag a copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS4 for like $4 at a thrift store a few years ago, specifically because it looked like it got run over by a freaking truck. Like, the case was just destroyed. Stops time, do all the voices, slaps some guy's ass, and leave. Like, imagine you perceive, like, 2 seconds, and suddenly your ass just feels like it got hit, and the dude's gone. And just all the voice work's recorded. Ideal workday. We see that's why you get asked to be paid by the session and not by the hour. No, I picked up a copy of Miles Morales. The thing is, like, the disc was in perfect condition despite how awful the case looked. And the, like, inside art was... It had a few dings in it, but it was mostly okay. So I just went to eBay. I bought a, like a 5-pack of blank PlayStation 4 cases for, like, $15. And I just put it in a new case, like the same art, the disc, everything. And so now I have Miles Morales for $4. And this is like still when it was like $60 over at Walmart or whatever, $50. BBH, I would get spanked by Dio and get unalived by him. Need to do that for a few games. Well, the thing is, I still have a couple cases left over because, unfun fact, I pre-ordered Octopath Traveler 2 for PS4 when it was first announced and stuff like that. And even though it was shipped brand new, the case was damaged. Thankfully, the disc and the art were fine, but I'm like, I'm glad I bought those extra freaking cases. There are a few things that, with game collecting, that suck more than ordering something brand new, like pre-ordering it or something, and then getting it and it's already damaged. Because I think I've mentioned this before, but the specific reason I wanted to get the PS4 version of Octopath Traveler 2 is because when Octopath Traveler 2 was announced, the first game, which it launched as a Switch exclusive, came out for Stadia, then PC, and then Xbox One. But when Octopath 2 was announced, it was for Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC. So the fact that, like, even though the original was on Switch and Xbox, the sequel was on Switch and PlayStation, So I had to get the PlayStation version for the absolute nonsense. So paranoid about that, I just go to brick and mortars for new releases. Realize it's a luxury, though. That's the thing, is like, it's a 30 or 40-minute drive to get to any place besides Walmart that sells games. And Walmart usually gets Nintendo stuff and then whatever's mainstream big budget game. Sometimes they'll get, like, they actually surprisingly got the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake on Switch. But, like, if I want any kind of niche game on PlayStation or Xbox, I have to order it through, like, an app or something. Because they'll get, like, RPGs and stuff for Switch, but the only thing they ever get for PlayStation or Xbox over there is the most mainstream of mainstream games at my local Walmart. Of course, they have, like, 3 cabinets for physical Switch games, 2 for PlayStation, and 1 cabinet for Xbox. Like, damn. I am ashamed. I have barely played it. Just because of, like, partially ADHD reasons. Partially because I'm actually trying to finish games I'm further in before starting more new stuff. So, also with the Octopath situation, in the last couple years, they released Octopath 1 on PS4 and 5. And they did end up, like 6 months later, releasing Octopath 2 on Xbox One and Series. So, all the Octopath games are completely multi-platform now, but it just struck me so funny. Octopath 2 coming out for PlayStation when the original was not available on PlayStation. Bless you. Thankfully, most of the HD 2D games seem to be fully multi-platform now. The only one that's not is Live Alive, which, it's on Switch, and the Switch version's available physically. And then, it's available digitally on PS4, PS5, and PC. But then again, like, I don't know what happened, the massive shakeup that must have happened in Square Enix's, like... Well, that's right, their president was, like, a completely different... Like, he retired or something. But ever since they got the new president, Square Enix has been focusing much more on multi-platform, which is really freaking funny, because in the last year or so, maybe, like, year and a half, just, like, 20 Square Enix games just randomly freaking shadow dropped on Xbox. They released the entirety of the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series on Xbox Series X. Legend of Mana, Trials of Mana. I thought Live Alive was pronounced Live Alive and not Live Alive. Almost everyone I know pronounced it Live Alive. But both the Japanese katakana on the packaging for the original release and the official trailers pronounce it Live Alive. But yeah, almost everyone before the HD 2D release pronounced the original Super NES version Live Alive. Which I think flows a little better, but I'm so used to calling it Live Alive now. It's been like 6 or 7 years, so... Yeah, one thing about being almost kind of bilingualish, or at least being able to read katakana and hiragana, is if I don't know how to pronounce something, if it has the Japanese title in English, ask the katakana. Legit thought you were gonna say live and learn. Hanging on the edge of tomorrow. But yeah, like, they also randomly shadow drop, like, Final Fantasy 16, freaking Octopath 2, like I mentioned earlier. And, oh yeah, not Square Enix, but Capcom just randomly shadow dropped, Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2 on Xbox One and Series, like, a month ago, with no fanfare or marketing. So if you're a weirdo like me who likes to play your 3DS games on Xbox One, you can do that now. Oh, and Romancing Saga 2 got an Xbox release, also with no fanfare or marketing. It just makes me sad because, like, I'm one of the 5 people on the planet who likes to collect physical Xbox One games. I just think the cases are neat. So the fact that almost everything that comes out for Xbox One anymore is all digital only makes me sad. Steam is definitely in the running for longest one yet. Well, I am about to rein it in. And also, it's been about 3 hours and 45 minutes, so I'm about an hour or so short of my actual longest stream, which I think was like 4 hours and 50. The funny thing is I actually started, when I started this stream, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a short one. I'll probably do 2 hours. I'm taking my girlie to her bedroom with her big Snorlax doll. Because I am going to about wrap it up here. I know at least one other person who does the same. I'm like a hardcore Xbox maniac. I don't really have any big attachment to, like, I like the original Xbox and the 360. But, you know, like, they don't live rent-free in my mind like the PS1 or the Switch or the Super Nintendo do. The Xbox One, and by extension the series, which is just a Super Saiyan Xbox One, are so freaking weird and off-kilter and have said such a bizarre lifespan, I can't help but like them. Also, God, I felt that. Also, I have this weird little... I don't know what it even is, why I'm like this, but I really like buying games on the least likely place that they're available. Like, for example, I really like buying Japanese games on Xbox. If there's any, like, super dark, edgy Western game I'm interested in, I really want to get the Switch version. And if something launches as, like, a Switch exclusive or an Xbox exclusive, I'm like, I'll wait till it comes out on PlayStation. Like, I really want to get specifically the PS4 version of Cuphead, because it was Xbox and Switch only for so long. I like having physical copies of games. Fulfills the urge to collect trinkets. There's something very satisfying about having a physical copy of a game and having it be on your shelf and stuff. And I do believe I'm going to go ahead and wrap it off. It's almost, well, it's literally midnight. It's 11:59 for me. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming by and hanging out. Thank you for the new followers. I got to 50 followers. Thank you for all the new chatters who came by. I really appreciate you guys coming by to check me out. And thank you for hanging out. First saw Biohazard on Switch, I was flabbergasted. It's cool, because Resident Evil actually has a pretty long history of showing up on Nintendo. The original one even has a port for the DS. Because remember, Resident Evil 4 was a GameCube exclusive when it first came out. Yeah. Ugh. Thank you guys so much for all hanging out with me, chilling and playing some Crystal. It's been awesome chatting you, 7th. Thank you so much for SBC Chaos. I'm probably going to be playing the heck out of that tonight or tomorrow. You guys all have a wonderful night. Bye.